services and supports, here for you every step of the way.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
So is this the line for Dragon's Maze?
Wow, the line is really long.
Mommy, there's no
We'll meet up later.
How long will you wait?
As long as it takes.
So you guys are only going to do this one ride all day?
It won't be that long. Probably.
Mom, can you get us food?
Wait, are they cutting?
Caleb, food is so far away.
Should I say something?
Daddy, pick me up. Mom!
Hey, there's a line here.
Daddy, swing me.
That's like 20 people.
my God.
One person holds the line for 20 people? This is bull.
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
It's time to find new roads and save at your certified pre-owned Chevy store, Steed Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. When you buy a GM certified pre-owned SUV or truck, you'll have peace of mind knowing all our vehicles have passed a rigorous 172-point inspection with a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and a 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. Stop in today and choose from a large selection of SUVs and trucks. Test drive our 2019 Chevy Equinox or our 2018 Chevy Traverse. Enjoy great deals and the buying experience you deserve on every Steed Ponte car, truck, or SUV. Shopping for a brand new, reliable, sturdy, full-size truck? Steed Ponte Chevy has a huge selection of Chevy Silverados on the lot, with more arriving every day. But hurry in because they're going fast. Steed Ponte Chevrolet, your locally owned and operated dealership, Route 28 in Herkimer, or call us at 315-866-5080. See why it's always easy to do business at Steed Ponte Chevrolet.
For the past 25 years, the Good News Center has been committed to building relationships. Better relationships for marriage, better family relationships, and a better relationship with God while promoting self-change. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director at the Good News Center. Our programs are designed to support you at your most challenging times. Whether it is marriage difficulties, addiction issues, suffering the loss of a loved one, or caring for someone close, we can offer you support. Or strengthen your faith journey by attending one of our spiritual renewal programs, such as a Bible study or Theology Uncorked. Our support programs are available in person or via Zoom. They are mentored by peers, cost nothing, and are confidential. For more information about all of our programs, visit us at thegoodnewscenter.org or call us at 315-735-6210. The Good News Center, building relationships for over 25 years.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
1, 2. I guess I'm working now. Good morning, Christine Bellino. Good morning, Manasseh.
Good morning, Bill Keeler.
Good morning, Davey. It's, it is nice when you think about poisonous spiders, poisonous snakes, and hurricanes, right? That we live up here where it's much colder in September versus the direct hit for the first time. It looks like the Tampa area is going to be hit for the first time in over 100 years with a direct hit.
Yes. Really good.
That's pretty big, right?
It is big for the people in Florida because a lot of them live in that area not thinking that they were ever going to be in the path of a hurricane.
Right, they think they're okay.
Right.
Well, it's I have some pictures I'll show, and we'll show them up on our TV stream. Just go to YouTube, search for Keeler live stream, and it's right up there. Best way to do it is to subscribe, because every time we go live in the morning, it'll pop right up for you, an alert. So I spoke with Don Leibel. Don and his family now live in that area, and he sent some a video. What do we do when I love that music so much I thought I'd play it some more. Yeah. What do we do when there's a big storm?
We buy a lot of food.
Like a big snowstorm. There are people that do the milk.
The toilet paper and milk thing.
Yeah. Eggs. You got to have eggs. You cannot have a storm without eggs.
I don't think we do much of anything, right? I mean, you kind of make sure the snowblower works. So you're talking about a winter storm.
You got to have your salt. Got to get salt.
We talk about it a lot on the air. Other than that,
but when we do, like when there was one of the big rainstorms, we just don't have any of it. Even like when there's flooding, you'll try to do sandbags and that sort of thing, but not anywhere at the capacity of what they do in the South, in Hurricane Alley, if you could call it that.
Right, they give away sandbags.
Don sent me a photo of a big sand pile, several sand piles that have been dumped for residents, and then bags all over the place. You just go, bring your shovel, and you fill up sandbags. And that's what neighbors are doing right now to prevent their homes from being flooded. It's kind of like a big sand pile you'd see around here that is prepped for wintertime, right, for the sanding of the roads. But,
they're that big. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a giant, big pile, and but the pile gets smaller. That's kind of interesting because, residents are right out there. It's like what I do on the side roads, usually get in rural areas. I'll go get my crushed stone. Why go buy it at the store,
Bill,
when you can pick it up right on the corner?
Bill. Let me say this. What do they do? I certainly understand the need for and the reason they're putting out the sand and the sandbags. What happens at the end of a storm? Does that stuff go in a trash can? Do they just go empty the sand on a beach nearby?
I wonder. What do you do?
Because those are heavy bags, right?
Yeah, they're probably the size of like 30 to 50-pound bags. I don't know, maybe not 50-pound bags, but maybe they're less than that. Maybe 25-pound bags of sand.
I guess I never thought of that. What do they do?
I don't know,
Christine.
Christine, you're.
We never had sandbags.
Yeah,
interesting.
We didn't have sandbags. We just had hurricane.
See, yeah.
And in Miami, the flooding wasn't really the issue because that's where I grew up, was Miami. So we didn't really have that issue. But that is an excellent question. What do they do with the sandbags?
Yeah.
I do know people who have sandbags all the time in Florida.
Well, I
have them on hand.
Sure,
yes.
And that sounds about right. But
I think you save them for the oncoming Civil War, don't you? Bunker down.
They make good bunkers.
Yeah. That is a good point, Bill. Just because it's like you assemble a temporary brick wall. I mean, I know it's sand, but right. I mean, you want to wall off your property, so it's not like you just throw that in a storage shed. That takes up a significant amount of space.
And I think and they're orange, by the way. The bags are orange, so it's not like something you're gonna keep around. I don't know what you would do with that, but there's sand everywhere anyway, right? In Florida.
I guess so. And is it a crime to go to the beach with shovel in hand and a couple of bags and go, hey, it is?
Probably would be a problem. Yeah.
Yes. Beach erosion.
So that is going on. Yesterday, NASA, on purpose, crashed a spaceship into an asteroid.
I think this is so cool.
I do too.
I'm shocked it's going to take multiple days to see if it works.
I know, and I'm also shocked that this is like I remember, I don't know, 30 years ago, we're on the radio one morning talking about, because there's the fear that the asteroid is going to come really close. One of those situations where it's going to come really close to Earth. I don't know, 1 million miles away, but it's a close call compared to what we normally see. And I remember us all on the radio saying, why couldn't you just take a rocket and shoot into the asteroid and try to change its direction? And I think they must have been listening, NASA, because, it's one of those obvious things like, you know what we got to invent? Let's invent this. It's totally never been invented before, and then you Google it, and pages of products come up that have already been invented.
This was part of, the whole Star Wars stuff back in the 80s where they were going to shoot down missiles that were headed our way.
Right.
It's part of that same technology.
And look at that technology. That is something that, really protects Israel every single day.
Right.
It's technology that works. So why wouldn't you be able? Now, we don't know that this has worked, right? And the asteroid is pretty large. It's an enormous rock flying through space.
And it could make the issue worse.
It could, although they're saying in this particular situation, it's far enough away and outside our orbit to the point where it poses no danger. It's not like they're going to turn it in the wrong direction, like, oh, my God, now it's coming towards Earth.
So just to be clear here, whether this works or not, we're not in danger because this was not headed toward us. It's in our general direction, but this was a test.
At least that's what they're telling us, right?
Yes.
I mean, really, this is the dinosaur. This is the dinosaur asteroid, and it's really heading towards Earth. But we couldn't tell anyone because it would panic the world. So Big Brother is keeping it from us. I mean, there's someone out there that probably believes that. Yesterday, NASA was able to send, how large, this is something to think about. How large was the spaceship that was the ship that smashed into the asteroid? How large do you think?
Oh, interesting. So they didn't use an explosive. They used an actual ship?
Is an actual ship that flew into it. It was not a bomb or an explosive.
I'm going to say it's twice the size of the original Star Trek vessel.
Christine, any idea? You might have
what
already
that
seen
means.
it.
I don't know what that means.
I don't have a mic on you, Christine. Testing 1, 2. Try it again.
Sorry, I read this story yesterday, and I don't remember how big it is.
A vending machine size. So it's the size of your Pepsi or Coke machine.
Okay. I would think it was bigger than that. I'm kind of surprised to hear it's that small.
It's 7 million miles through space is how far it traveled. That's incredible. And successfully collided last night at about 7:15 p.m. with asteroid Dimorphos, which is the size of a football stadium. So it gives you that's a pretty large, and I wonder if a vending machine blown into the size of a stadium floating through or flying very quickly through space, I wonder if that'll move it at all. And in this case, they're trying to not necessarily change its direction, they're trying to change its velocity. So they're hoping that the collision will have, in some small way, slowed down, or I think maybe speed up is what they're saying, that it might have speed up the asteroid. So it must have hit it from behind, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, this is so confusing. I would think you'd want to blow it up, not.
Well, then you have many pieces. You don't want to necessarily have that.
But a lot of those, don't they say when they hit our atmosphere they burn up?
I don't know.
Right, if this was the big one, we'd want to break it apart. I would think, not try to redirect it, because that's
no. You wouldn't want to break it apart. I mean, I'm gonna speak to you as if
NASA scientist Keeler over here.
As if I'm a scientist. No, you wouldn't. But I have actually followed through on this and really watched some YouTube videos from NASA. You can go to, I believe it's nasa.com, and all day long they have new content, and oftentimes it's live, and they have videos you can watch on all of this stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's .gov, but yes.
.gov, yes. Sorry. Anyway, the mission was to demonstrate that we could deflect asteroids using this method. Here is the moment of impact. Are you ready to hear the audio? This is the moment of impact. Here it is.
Please add 25 cents.
And did you hear it?
That's it?
I guess it's not playing properly.
Oh, okay. I thought a little.
Unfortunately, they say there was no awesome explosion like you might expect in the movies. It just made impact. That's all you get to hear. But it will be interesting to see, and I guess it's going to take a long time for us to figure out if it actually had any effect. I don't understand why that is.
Well,
we actually have to wait for it to continue to orbit. It's then going to pass another asteroid that's going to create a shadow that's going to allow us to time it. That's how we're going to be timing it. It's not like we're putting a speed gun on the thing.
That makes more sense because my confusion as to why it would take so long to see if it worked was because I thought we were trying to bust it apart. I was like, wouldn't we see that we split it or we didn't split it?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
But if we're testing the speed, that does seem like it would take more time.
I am very worried with 8 games left in the season. How many games do the Yankees have left, Davey? Is it 8 or 7?
Well, they have 2 left against Toronto, and then they have Baltimore, and then they have 3 against Texas.
So 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
8 games remaining.
He's going to hit a home run. Don't worry.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
We're now at 154, by the way.
Where what?
Babe Ruth, 60 home runs, 154 games. Maris was 61 and 162. With 8 games left, that means they've played 154.
So Babe Ruth did it in
60
and 160.
No, I'm sorry, 60 home runs. I'm sorry, 60 home runs and 154, which is now what they've played. They at some point baseball added 8 games, and Maris hit 61.
Right. All right,
in 160.
So it must happen today, or there will be those purists who will say, "Wow, you didn't do what Babe Ruth did." Because he did it 154.
No, I think it's happened. I think last night was the last game.
Really?
Was the last game to do it in 154. 155, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. Yeah.
Okay.
Tonight's game is 155 for the Yankees.
What happens? The pressure is on Judge so tremendously. What happens? Davey, you're shaking your head, but I'm just saying.
Don't jinx him. He will break the record.
Like you thought the Bills were going to lose to Miami. I mean, anything can happen in this world.
I didn't say they were going to lose to it.
That's my point. That's my point. See what I'm saying? What? I mean, it is not uncommon for a player, a home run hitter, to go 9, 10, 11, 12 games into a little bit of a drought without a home run. Would it not be horrific if Judge didn't at least hit 61?
It would.
He's going to hit it.
I know that, but I'm just saying.
And you guys
Davey,
were
thank
the
you for
ones
the
saying
positivity.
What were we saying, Dave?
And you guys saying, "Oh, Louisville's going to beat Syracuse." I'm the one that said Syracuse was going to beat Louisville.
You are. I'm just simply throwing out a possibility here. It would be awful. What was that, Christine?
No, I was thanking Davey for his positivity.
Yeah, be positive, Davey. Every game now, there are fans selling out ballparks to see if and when Aaron Judge will tie the Roger Maris record of 61 home runs in a season. Last night's drama, he was up to bat in the 10th inning in Toronto. He got an extra at-bat. Then the 10th inning in Toronto, when they decided to intentionally walk him, he didn't get that extra at-bat. Fans were not happy. They were booing. His mom was shown in the stands. She had a double-fisted middle finger. She kept... No, she didn't.
No.
She didn't. But that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, sorry. But the fans were booing. They were booing. And her mom was there. Here is the actual call. Apparently, none of this is going to play for me here. And by the way, that brings me up to, we made some changes. You know what I'm going to do? We made some changes on the stream on YouTube. If you're on there, if you can let us know. Yesterday it got very jumpy, especially as we get into the high cellular time. Like after 7:40, 7:50 in the morning, cellular traffic begins to increase, and it causes some disturbance. It was pretty choppy yesterday. If you can let us know through the app, you can let us know through the app, or you can post right there on YouTube Live, or you can call us at 315-736-0186. The other part of it is I'm going to try to see if the audio is synced with the video, and that should be happening right now.
Yesterday, Kevin in Utica at about a little bit before 8:30 said the YouTube feed was great. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. I had other people complaining that it was choppy. Now, it's possible the choppiness may be happening at your home, but I was getting yesterday many alerts saying that there were problems. I know it's happening at your home, but what I'm saying is it might be your home internet that could be causing it. So we made some changes. Let's see what you think today. Please let us know if you could. You can leave a message right there in the app on YouTube, or if you're watching on your TV, send us a text message or an app message, or feel free to call us at 315-736-0186.
Wayne says on Judge, they pitch him outside and walk him quite a bit. Yeah, he does walk quite a bit. You know, one of the most interesting things I think is, I'm glad you told me about this, the Apple game Friday night, that all you needed was an ID. So I got to stream the game on my phone.
So you did get to watch it, yeah.
I did get to watch the game. Did you see the Friday night game? One of the most interesting things to me.
Davey was in Syracuse.
Oh, that's right. You guys were at the Cuse game. The Maris family, one of the sons they talked to, openly talked about, because I was trying to explain this to somebody, maybe my roommate. I was trying to explain this to somebody where they're like, it's 61. It's happened before. I don't understand what the big deal is. And I said, well, they're positioning this as it's
the record.
It's the American League record is what they keep saying. But Maris's son openly talked about it. He goes, well, you talk about these other guys and maybe the things that they did. The Maris family, and I think part of Major League Baseball is approaching this as this is the all-time record.
I agree. Sosa, McGuire, and Barry Bonds all have tainted records.
Well, I think they need to address that in the record books to some degree.
I feel like there should have been an asterisk put on each of those records. Bonds holds the record, right?
The Bonds with 73,
yeah. Anyway, there you go. I do wonder what would happen. What would happen if he didn't hit the home run?
Looks to me like we're headed straight in.
Oh my goodness. 8, 7, 6,
wow.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow. We're getting visual confirmation.
All right.
And we have impact.
I can't even believe that's the real audio, but it is. At one point, the woman saying, oh, wow, I thought I had turned on to some sort of a porn station or something. It's like, no, that was NASA. And that's what you heard when it happened last night at 7:15.
It's so much less formal than it was in the past.
You're right. Yeah.
Even the counting was 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And then she's like, Houston, we've landed a Snickers bar on the asteroid.
I mentioned the booing. You want to hear the audio of the call that happened with when Aaron Judge was intentionally walked? Here we go.
And Judge is intentionally walked. Now, you can get mad at the manager all you want, but he's playing for something now.
I know.
If Alex Cora did this, you have a real reason to get angry, but he's trying to win this game to get into the playoffs. His mom, kind of bemused and frustrated. Just think what you, back at home, and how frustrated you're feeling that you don't get a chance to see Judge, and then think that's her son, and she's watching every single at-bat, waiting for him to do something so special, and so probably times it by a million by what you're feeling at home.
First time I've ever said this. Michael Kay was right.
I agree. I mean, I think I'm not following at all where they are in the American League, but I'm assuming almost everybody is in the playoffs right now. Is Toronto playing for anything right now?
Yeah, Toronto's the top wild card.
Okay.
3 games up.
Well, I think they have no choice, right? They have no choice but to play how they would normally play. You can't be sitting back saying, well, he's going for a record.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're in the 10th inning now. So
right. You get a runner on second base, first base is open, you give it to Judge, you pitch to the next guy. It's a no-brainer.
Wow, did I read a story this morning that is something that we've really been talking about involving COVID, and we were talking about it yesterday. So think about the number of people who say they've never had COVID. You've never had it, right?
No, I've had
you
it.
Did.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But we all know people who say, I've never had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had it.
Christine.
I've never had it. Christine has never had it. Davey has never had it. You transmitted it a few times, but you've never had it. That's right. So what they're saying is, number one, did you take home tests or did you take the PCR test?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, how often did you test? Because what they say is you may have tested on a Wednesday and tested negative, but by Thursday you would have tested positive, but you didn't test. You got your negative test and you were done. They're saying, listen to this number. Now, it may not sound like it's that big, but it's much bigger than the vending machine that blew into that asteroid. 20% of the people in the world have probably most likely had, this is an estimate, but have most likely had COVID and don't know it because they had 0 symptoms.
Right.
And that's possible, right?
It is possible. So
And it's also possible, if I could, also possible that you are one of those people whose immune system is successful in fighting off this COVID virus. So it's also possible that you didn't have it. But of all the people in the world, 20% of us are estimated to have had it and don't even know it.
So what's funny is that I know that I had exposures even early on. I think that if I had COVID, I had it before, like that October, November, before it became a big deal. Because I remember being very sick, like feeling somebody was standing on my chest at one point.
Yeah, I know someone who had it in February, and they weren't testing for it.
Yeah, they weren't testing.
They said he probably had the flu and was in the hospital for a week.
So, yeah, I mean, I felt very sick, but that was before, quote unquote, COVID. I went to the doctor and, they were like, we don't know what you have. Just deal with it and you'll be fine, which I did. It only lasted like 2 days. And then after that, the only real testing that I had, I mean, I had my temperature checked every single day, but I was giving blood and they were testing your blood for the antigens.
Okay.
And I did not have the antigens
well,
at any point.
But the story references that and says that that is an inaccurate way of determining if you've had COVID, that the antigens won't always show up.
Is that the same thing as the antibodies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
And I'm not sure if that's because of the testing inaccuracy, or I'm not sure what it is, but it referenced that in the story. So
right.
There's not a clear way to determine if someone had it. Chances are, though, they would have been able to. I mean, if you're being tested on a regular basis because you're giving blood, Christine, then chances are you would have shown up and would have had it. But you may be one of those people that just can't get it or just don't get it.
Or I will still get it.
That's possible, too.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that is. If you haven't had it by now, Christine or anybody, the fact that you've been exposed so much out in public, I mean, we all pass germs constantly, whether they're good, bad, they get you sick or they don't. We're just constantly passing things from places. You're constantly exposed to a variety of things. I'm shocked that there's anybody that hasn't had it yet. And my question is, if you haven't had it, are you typically a person whose immune system is able to deflect things that would make you sick, or is it only specific to COVID?
It could
I rarely get sick.
It could be, and it also says that it could be specific to a coronavirus. So maybe you don't get a lot of colds and that sort of thing.
I don't.
And there are those. I mean, parents will always talk about, little Bobby. If it's out there, he gets it.
Yep.
There are those people that are susceptible, it seems. So anyway, who knows if we'll ever know. And the good part is that even if we do find out, we're a society now that doesn't believe anything. So we'll be like, that's bullcrap. I know the truth.
It's so funny because I'm one of those people who I wash my hands incessantly. I never touch my face. But I think nothing about, shoveling manure or putting my hands into a big worm pile. But, God forbid I touch a dirty doorknob.
Well, and the problem with that is that hand to mouth, hand to eye was a big issue. But they say that it was more airborne than anything else, that COVID. After years, a couple years later, we realized that washing your groceries off probably wasn't required, right? And Davey, you doing good in there?
Was that a spray hose? What was that noise? It sounded like he was washing his groceries off.
It's good,
That was
yes.
the sound of a hose deflecting off a plastic bag.
Well, we used an air compressor when we cleaned our
Sorry
groceries
about that, but I am doing good.
You're doing good. Thank you, Davey. Sometimes I leave Davey's mic open, and he doesn't know it. He would have no idea. It's not his fault.
Sorry about that. My mojo's in full effect this morning.
Let me go with some news for you, some other news beyond what we're talking about. Did you see that Joseph Irwin?
Yes.
Is now out of jail, right? Released from prison after 7 years. Released on Monday, and that is the Word of Life killing that occurred over in, would that be Sequoia?
Chadwick's?
Chadwick's, yeah. The man who's serving time in state prison for his involvement in a murder and beatings at the Word of Life Church has now been released. He's 29 years old. But, all of these people, many of them young, they have to live with the fact that this kid died. Christopher Leonard was only 17 years old. 3 others went to jail. Linda Morey, Sarah Ferguson, David Morey, I believe they did, beat Christopher Leonard and his brother Lucas Leonard. Lucas, 19, died after the hours-long beating inside the sanctuary of Word of Life Church back in, it's hard to believe it's been over 7 years, back this time in October 2015.
Yeah, it is amazing to think about that it's been that long. I actually was kind of trying to remember back last night as I was looking up some information on this, because I can't believe that it's been that long.
Yeah.
The other thing is that struck me as odd, and again, this was my honest reaction as I read some accounts of what happened initially. I'm not stirring up anything here. The brothers, obviously one of whom was killed, based on their interpretation, you remember this was a big deal at the time, based on their interpretation or understanding of the church or what they had been told, were admitting to molesting children. And,
right, and
authorities said they just don't understand what that means.
Scott McNamara had explained that our definition of that and what they were taught the definition was were two different things. Like there may have been a little kiss goodnight on the cheek, and that would have been considered molestation.
Yes.
So here are the people who are currently in jail. We mentioned the one who is now out. His name is Joseph Irwin, who has now been released. But according to inmate logs, 40-year-old Sarah Ferguson will be up for parole in 2037. She is currently in the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. Deborah Leonard, the 66-year-old mother of Christopher and Lucas, was released from the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility in January of 2020. She served about 3 years in prison. Bruce Leonard, 72, the father of the brothers, was sentenced to serve up to 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to first-degree assault and second-degree assault. He is currently in the Auburn Correctional Facility. He'll be up for parole in 2 years. Tiffany Irwin, 36, she was the pastor of the church, sentenced to serve up to 12 years in prison after pleading guilty to first-degree manslaughter, second-degree assault. She's currently in Bedford Hills, up for parole in 2026. David Morey, sentenced to serve up to 5 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree assault. He was released from the Cayuga Correctional Facility in February of 2020 and is currently under supervised release. Linda Morey, 61, sentenced to serve up to 5 years in prison. She received parole in 2020. Daniel Irwin, then 25, was expected to serve 2 years in county jail after he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree unlawful imprisonment. He is not listed in custody in the prison system. And neither is Tracy Irwin, who was 50, was expected to serve 2 years in county jail.
Another thing that sticks with me here is Sarah Ferguson. It was, I believe, a sibling or a partial sibling of the 2 brothers.
Yeah.
I don't believe she had a leadership role in this assault, this attack. But she's going to be in prison until 2037 because she is the only one, I believe, who did not accept a plea and went to trial on this.
Yeah.
But she's still looking at 15 more years.
I know.
Well, where people who were instrumental in this are out or are about to get out.
Because they cut deals.
This is interesting.
This is interesting as well along the same line. Corporal punishment in schools in New York. Does it happen anymore?
I don't think so. I think it's illegal in the school.
I think that you might be surprised that according to the Albany Times-Union, over 1,600 incidents have been reported over the last 5 years. State investigators have substantiated more than 1,600 instances of corporal punishment in New York schools, according to the Times-Union. The substantial number of the complaints were in the New York City public schools, almost all of them. Other incidents included a sub-teacher in Watertown who was fired and arrested for grabbing a student by the throat and forcing him against a wall, and a teaching assistant in Syracuse who was transferred and retrained for spanking a nonverbal student. I mean, the thing is, I want my kids disciplined, but I don't want you laying a hand on them, I feel. And I think most parents feel that way.
Absolutely.
Unlike what it was like when, it's probably not so much when we were kids versus when our parents were like my parents certainly lived through that era where, or I guess if you were at a Catholic school at some point, you might have got whacked with a ruler or something.
I never was, but I believe I had a cousin who would talk about the fact that she got her knuckles wrapped a couple times by a ruler, even as young as kindergarten and first grade. I just checked here. There is a prohibition in New York on corporal punishment, but it is for public schools. It says private institutions, some private schools may be allowed to use corporal punishment. That surprises me that that's still legal.
And well, you pay to send your kid there. You know the policies, so if you're okay with it, I guess it's okay. The State Education Department documented nearly 18,000 complaints of corporal punishment in public and charter schools from 2016 to 2021. The Times-Union said it found that school districts have underreported cases of corporal punishment to the federal government and state ed, according to records which are not readily available.
At our school, we had a paddle.
Yeah.
One of the vice presidents had a wooden paddle that he would actually, and then another student had to witness it.
We had a teacher who had a rubber hose. Everybody loved him. And he never really used it, but he'd walk around with it. And it was more legend than anything else. Although, it's funny, my parents, I went to the same high school as my parents. And they said that back in that day, you may have been paddled or whipped by the hose or whatever.
Wow.
I will say that I remember in 6th grade, God, Emmett, I feel so bad. I don't know what had happened, but he had an eraser put in his mouth and tape around his.
What?
Honest to God, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
That's unbelievable.
That was in the 70s.
I'll tell you something else, too, that I find unbelievable today. I want to say it was...
Christine's like, what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Proctor or Utica Academy. I know there's people out there who know what I'm talking about when I say this. I don't know if it was Proctor or if it was UFA or what particular school it was, but this is before police officers were commonly in schools. There was a guy who was a very friendly guy, like you said, the guy with the hose. Everyone liked him. He was cool with everybody.
Prof. Tulpa was his name. Awesome guy. Great teacher.
Rode a motorcycle, carried a baseball bat. If there was a problem, you had to deal with him. Nobody ever said to me, I saw him take down a kid with a bat.
But there was legend there.
Yeah, there was legend. There was intimidation that he was the enforcer. And that's kind of how, when things got sideways, he would come and straighten things out. And I don't know exactly what straighten things out means.
Right.
But certainly there's a lot of imagination there. If you went to school in Utica, I'd love to hear if you have a story. Because I always thought as a kid when they would tell me this, I'm like, it just sounds like a comic book character.
Yeah, more folklore than anything else.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of those things did happen years ago, and many of those teachers were still around. And I also remember witnessing a teacher and a student getting into it, and the student knocking out the teacher. I saw that once. That was quite a day. Wow. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a weird question. Was it justified, in your opinion?
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if the teacher was way out of line,
I don't think so. I think the teacher was probably just doing his job, and it turned into something bad. But you get even back then, you get arrested for that crap, which is probably the way it should be, I guess. And then one more for you, one more before I break. 2 armed men robbed a Syracuse. Apparently, the strip clubs in Syracuse, Davy, have been in the news lately. Be careful. All right. 2 armed men have robbed a...
I haven't been there.
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I haven't even said it yet. 2 armed men robbed a Syracuse strip club. Have you ever been to Lookers, Davey?
Yes.
Okay.
But not recently.
But not recently.
Yeah.
The armed robbery happened at 2:20 in the morning. They made off with more than 10,000 $1 bills.
Are you kidding me?
I assume they're $1 bills. But they made off with more than 10 grand.
Are they robbing the girls or
at
customers?
2:20 in the morning. Well, what happens is all that money ends up, a lot of times gets pooled and tips are shared. I don't know if they do the same thing. I know that's what restaurants do. But they found $10,000 in cash from the staff and then took off.
Wow.
Left in a vehicle. Syracuse police saying they are still investigating the armed robbery.
A lot of dances to get that money back.
That's all. There are a lot of dances. A lot of. I mean, so if you see somebody out there trying to buy something for like $600 with $1 bills, call police because it's probably them, right? Got a break. News is straight ahead. Top of the hour for Tuesday morning at WIBX.
William Mattar for the win. Insurance companies make more money by paying you less. You've been seriously injured in a car crash, so why should you settle for less money than you deserve? At William Mattar, we've handled thousands of serious injury claims. There are short time deadlines, so call now. Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444. Main Street, Williamsville, South State Street, Syracuse.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD, $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market, $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rates subject to change at any time. See branch or gpofcu.com for full details.
Did you know that thread count is a myth? Think about it. It doesn't matter how many threads your sheets have if they're not the best quality threads. I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, and we know that the softest sheets are made with the highest thread quality, not the highest thread count. We start at the source and make our sheets from scratch. Our farmers grow the finest 100% organic cotton on earth. Our weavers are the best in the industry and only use the longest staple threads. This all means our sheets are free from toxins, have superior softness, and get softer with every single wash. They're so luxurious, they're beloved by 3 U.S. presidents. To top it off, we have a 30-night risk-free trial, plus free shipping and returns. Our sheets are made different, so you can sleep better at night. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use promo code ENJOY at bollandbranch.com. See site for details. That's BOLLAND branch.com. Promo code ENJOY.
WIBX 950, Utica, Rome.
Cuba is getting it first. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Hurricane Ian is pounding the western part of the island. Flash flooding and mudslides, a big concern. And then Ian will target Florida's Gulf Coast, likely as a Category 4 hurricane tomorrow or Thursday.
This is the storm we have all feared.
Attorney General Ashley Moody has a message for hundreds of thousands who live in the low-lying areas in the Tampa Bay area.
Please take the time to get out now while you can.
Residents who live in St. Petersburg who may need to evacuate are going to run out of time. There are 3 bridges across the upper part of Tampa Bay called Old Tampa Bay. Once those bridges become impassable, escaping by car means driving north closer to the coastline to try to reach Pasco County. Heading south from St. Pete towards Bradenton may become impossible whenever the 4-mile-long Sunshine Skyway Bridge over the mouth of Tampa Bay should close.
That's Fox's Evan Brown in Tampa. There's a new attempt to keep the government from being shut down ahead of a deadline Friday for Congress to approve new short-term funding. Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer has unveiled a bill that would provide money through mid-December. Jury selection starts today in what may be the biggest trial yet, stemming from last year's Capitol riots.
Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes and 4 close associates will be tried for seditious conspiracy. The charge is considered a step below treason. Federal prosecutors will likely try to highlight Rhodes and his alleged accomplices' planning and helping to carry out the riot on January 6th of last year.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. Tomorrow, the Democrat-led House committee investigating the Capitol riot will hold another public hearing. Last night, NASA rammed what it called a DART, a spacecraft, into an asteroid at 14,000 miles an hour. That asteroid was not headed to Earth. It's a test to see if an asteroid can be knocked off course if it is headed toward Earth someday. It could take weeks of testing to know if that actually worked. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Federal Reserve recent announcements is putting the country on course for a deep recession. That means wild swings in the markets and high inflation will continue to put your retirement savings at risk. Protect the money you worked so hard to save for retirement by investing in gold. Let Bishop Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated to your freedom, the quality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 7:03. It is Tuesday, September 27th. Your news is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. 52 degrees, mostly cloudy. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Troopers arresting a man from central New York after police say he allegedly grabbed the steering wheel while another person was driving, causing the car to crash into a tree. She was hospitalized. He had to be extricated from the car. Police say 32-year-old Kevin Summers also damaged restraints in the police station during the arrest. He's now facing several charges. You can find that full story at WIBX950.com. Police in Rome still investigating after 2 people were hurt at Liberty Gardens apartments. Anyone with information is being asked to give them a call. A man arrested in connection with a double homicide is expected to be arraigned in court today. We first told you about this story last month. The bodies of 46-year-old Jamie Crawford and 32-year-old Alexis Sellen were found in an apartment. A disabled child was still alive in the home when officers arrived. Police have arrested 46-year-old Jamel Weston. In that incident, the search for 2 other suspects in the case is still underway. A lawsuit has been filed in the aftermath of the death of a Christian Brothers Academy student that took place earlier this year. Back in February, 15-year-old Christian Cuomo was skiing at Bristol Mountain Ski Resort when he was thrown from the ski jump and ended up falling to the ground. He passed away because of his injuries several days later. According to the Post-Standard, his mother believes access to the area where her son got hurt should have been closed off. The ski resort not commenting yet on that lawsuit. The 2 candidates who are looking to represent the 22nd Congressional District have agreed to take part in several debates, both on television stations. The first debate between Democrat Francis Knoll and Republican Brandon Williams will be hosted by Syracuse.com October 6th. The debates on WSYR and WSTM will air on October 27th and November 2nd, respectively. The newly formed district covers all of Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga counties, as well as a portion of Oswego County. Election Day is November 8th. The Department of Health is launching a new website to support New Yorkers who are dealing with the effects of long COVID. The website provides a variety of information as to how people can seek treatment from healthcare providers. Officials say anyone who tests positive for COVID-19, even children, is at risk of getting long COVID. Symptoms could last for months. It's recommended that anyone who's eligible to be vaccinated receive their shots and an updated booster to avoid getting seriously ill. And another Mega Millions drawings has come and gone without a big winner. That means the jackpot is still on the rise. Whomever picks all of the correct numbers ahead of tonight's drawing will be able to claim at least $325 million. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. A chance of showers and thunderstorms today, mostly cloudy with a high near 63 degrees. Tonight, showers and possibly a thunderstorm possible, cloudy with a low around 50. A chance of showers Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high near 60 degrees. More showers possible Wednesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 44. And mostly sunny Thursday, the high near 57 degrees. Mostly clear Thursday night with a low around 38. Your temperature is brought to you by Country Suburban, your premier Lennox dealer. 52 degrees and overcast. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
That was a stinker on Monday night. The Giants' offense looked ridiculous. Danny Jones throwing an interception with a chance to tie the game late in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys get the victory, a final of 23-16 on Monday night. Cooper Rush helped Dallas take a 20-13 lead in the fourth quarter with a 1-yard touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb, who finished with 87 yards. The Giants, as I mentioned, did have a chance to tie late in the game, but Danny Jones threw a pick. Go figure. The Giants dropped to 2-1 on the season. The Jets hoping their starting quarterback returns from injury this week. Head coach Robert Saleh saying they're still looking for confirmation that Zach Wilson has been fully cleared to return from his August 6th knee injury. More injuries in the NFL. An NFL star being hospitalized with non-life-threatening issues after he was involved in a single-car rollover crash. Police say Browns defensive end Myles Garrett lost control of his vehicle on the way home from practice and flipped his vehicle several times. He and a female passenger, who were both wearing seatbelts, were treated at a hospital near Cleveland. Garrett's agent said he was alert and responsive and was being evaluated for his injuries. The Patriots will be without starting quarterback Mac Jones for several games. He suffered a severe high ankle sprain and could potentially have to have surgery. Jones and the Patriots still discussing his options and the best way to proceed. The Chargers taking a major blow on their offensive line. Starting left tackle Rashawn Slater out for the rest of the season. Review confirms that he has a torn left biceps tendon. And the Lions losing safety Tracy Walker for the rest of the season, as he confirms that he has a torn Achilles and will be out for the rest of the year. The NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving practice to Miami this week as Hurricane Ian approaches Tampa. They'll be using the Dolphins facility as Miami will be in Cincinnati Thursday night to play the Bengals. Ian is expected to strike the west coast of Florida or the Florida Panhandle by Thursday. Baseball, the Mets were off last night, and their game in the National League East has shrunk down to one game as the Braves picked up the victory last night, 8-0. Now both teams have 8 games remaining. The Mets open up a series in Miami against the Marlins.
What do you think? We struggle with the Marlins.
We do, especially in September.
Yeah. I think this is going to come right down to the wire.
Yeah, I think it's probably a split against the Fish, and then we play 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Atlanta for the division, really. And then they wrap it up, of course, against, is it Washington? They play Washington Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, yeah. The Yankees last night, still no 61 for Aaron Judge. By the way, for the Yankees last night was game 154, if you're paying attention to that. The Yankees did lose in 10 innings to the Toronto Blue Jays. Aaron Judge was intentionally walked during his plate appearance in the 10th inning. 3-2 was the final there. That series north of the border continues for the Pinstripes. Nets guard Kyrie Irving apparently turned down a 4-year contract extension because he didn't want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. The 30-year-old was forced to miss multiple games, home games in Brooklyn last year because of the New York City vaccination mandate. Irving felt his decision on whether or not to get vaccinated was like an ultimatum from the organization in regard to his contract. And coming up this weekend, Syracuse will be in search of its 5th straight win to start the season as they host Wagner on Saturday. I'm struggling to find a line here. But I think we all agree Syracuse has got to be at least a double-digit favorite here, right?
I would think so. This is a game that everybody thinks Syracuse is certainly going to win.
I can't believe what a good start they are off to so far. 4-0. They're beating other ACC foes. Smithy's excited about it.
I will say that, Davey, you would agree they played a really horrible second half on Friday night.
Yes, correct.
Especially offensively. Really, really bad.
Because they raced out to an early lead, right? Was it 13 or 16 points?
They were romping. It looked like they were just going to crush them.
And Garrick Schrader threw his first interception of the season in the second quarter, then 4 turnovers. That didn't help either.
I'm looking here for a line as well, and I can't seem to find.
Maybe the man with the plan on number 1 would know the line.
Okay, you think so?
Maybe.
Who's the man with the plan?
Scott from Kirkville.
Oh, he's on the line now. Hi, Scott. Good morning. You might know.
I doubt there's going to be a line because I think they're Division 2 or Division 3,
Well,
but
it would
they'll be
show
up in the 30s if they probably did have a line. I just don't think they're going to post a line. Over the weekend, I don't know if you saw Miami lost to Middle Tennessee State, which is if you had a money line, which they did, for every $100 that you would risk, you could have won $1,500 on Middle Tennessee State when they played Miami. So I think it'll be up there. It'll be about 40 points, I figure, 30 to 40.
Yeah,
on the Syracuse, yeah. And they usually do list those games, but there's like a secondary listing, right?
You might
smaller
get something,
games
on a different, I'm sure that you can bet somewhere, somehow, anything, but I just don't think you're going to see on the mainstream, like Vegas Strip. You might see the offshore or some other thing, but I'd say 30. I'd go between 30 and 40. Personally, that's what I would post to that.
I said before sports, we were talking here with Smitty, and I said, they got to be 30-point favorites, but I was kind of exaggerating a bit there.
No. Well, if you've seen some of these lines, Michigan was a 47-point favorite over Connecticut. They were a 51-point favorite over Hawaii. Over the weekend, NC State was a 38-point favorite over Connecticut, and Connecticut's Division One. It'd be interesting. Like I said, I just if you go back to the Albany game last year, they Syracuse was throttle Albany. I think they might have got off the throttle, but I think we're all in for the Rockies. I feel confident I'm going to get my 5th win this week.
I did. I mean, you took the over, and the over under was at 4 games, right?
4.5. Yeah, 4.5. And
5.
So I to be honest with you, I thought I wouldn't get it this early, but I thought I was going to be 4-1. If I was going to go over, it was going to be because of the September schedule, because they're going to get in the deep end in the pool in about 2 weeks.
Well, I feel like this is a team that could. I mean, we're going to find out, but it's a team that could play with them. They really played horribly against a Friday night. They played really badly.
Well, that's the hardest thing to figure out. How bad is Virginia? Because Virginia had that game almost given to them, and they still couldn't take advantage of it. Or how good is Syracuse? They can play that bad and still win.
Well, the defense certainly kept them in that game, right, and gave them the opportunity to get out and kick the field goal.
On draft, is Christine there? I want to congratulate her for having the first place Dolphins in first place.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Are you still down Tobacco Road, or are you back? You're back in Utica Greens country.
I'm down in Tobacco Road area. Right
now.
Smoke them while you got them, Christine.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I think you're onto something, Scott. I think you might be Syracuse. I'm just saying. Wow. So far.
It could be 2018.
Could
take
be.
a look at Florida State. I think that's going to be a tough one. NC State, and of course, Clemson. But the other games are 50-50 as far as I could see.
Even that Notre Dame game. Who would have thought that, right?
Exactly. And who would have thought Syracuse might be rated in the top 25 and Notre Dame wouldn't? So that's an irony right there.
Hard to believe. They're in the coaches poll, number 25. And I think they got like 25 votes in the AP poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the interesting part. But we'll be 5-0, and we'll make reservations for Rockies. And if Christine, you're coming up to Utica, we can wait for it if you want. If you're going to be up, it could be sometime. It'd be interesting to see how the Chicago one does compared to the Indiana one, because sometimes you have to wait to the end of the season to collect because they want to make sure. But We'll make reservations for Rockies and
All
have
right,
a good
cool.
time.
Thank you, man. Have a great day. And by the way, when he says Rockies, he's talking about Waterfront Grill in Herkimer, which is right along the canal, right off the thruway.
DraftKings says for Syracuse Orange, you click on them, it says no events currently available for the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah.
So there might not be. He might.
There'll be a place where you can. There'll be a place where you'll be able to find it, but it'll be among the small schools, I would imagine.
Imagine that though. He was rattling off some of those big lines. 51 points.
Crazy.
Look, if I'm the head coach, I bet the house on my team plus 51. First quarter, I get the ball, take a knee.
Yeah.
Get that clock running.
That'd be your last day coaching, probably.
But I'd have a nice win, I think.
You would. Here's Wayne. Good morning, Wayne.
Hey, guys, every time that he speaks, Scott, you should, after he's done, you should ba-dum, boom, and then he says something else, ba-dum, boom, and then he says something else. I'm so used to it, you guys don't do it anymore.
Well, he lost the TV and doesn't have any internet or anything in his house, so.
And he didn't have jokes today.
And I have, we have, I'm trying to tell him, YouTube Live, it'd be easy for him to watch us because he's out on Oneida Lake out that way.
Some people refuse to go, to get anything modern. My brother's like that.
Yep, I refuse. I still have my flip phone. I have a friend who's, and even when they said you got to go from, you're going to be 3G, you're going to lose it. He's gone to a 4G flip phone. So
still has it. So I wanted to tell you a story about when I went to Kemble School. I'm not going to say any names. I could abbreviate, and people know who I'm talking about. In gym class, we had a guy that would walk around, the teacher. His name was Mr. D, and he would walk around with a black, heavy wiffle ball bat, and it was wrapped with medical tape, and he would whale people with that thing when they stepped out of line. He'd whack them with it, whether it be in the back of the neck, the legs, the butt. But he would hit you with it.
I kind of feel like that is more of a novelty than really corporal punishment. Do you agree or no?
Oh, you mean like jumping out of a clown car and hitting somebody and boinking them and poking them in the eyes with two fingers?
Yeah. Well, that might be a little more extreme.
I'm wondering what you mean by that.
Well, I almost like, we had a teacher that would always grab guys' sideburns and, lift up, and you'd be like, wow, that would hurt.
We had one guy in school that had sideburns, so good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't your sideburns, it was your eyelashes. I mean, he had a way to. But I didn't see that as being a corporal punishment thing. It was more like, that was the shtick. That was his thing, and nobody messed with him.
And then we had another one. We had a vice principal. Also, I can call him Mr. D because he was a Mr. D too. He had 3 paddles. I think he had 2 on the wall that hung on the wall in the office, and he had one he walked around with, swinging it with a leather strap on so it was accessible to use at any time. He had it on his wrist at any time walking through the hall.
Yeah.
So people feared this guy.
Yeah. My mother used to tell us about what it used to be like in schools, and she'll hate me telling this story, but it's not really a big deal, I don't think. But she went to school, and her dress was right around her knees, and the teacher, another teacher that she had and my father had that I had in school, sent her to the nurse's office, and she had to change her clothing. They had to bring her another dress because too close to the knees. Can you imagine that? I mean, can you imagine? Today it's like there's too much butt cheek showing. I mean, that's where we are today.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Bill, did he pull you to the side and pull one of them, slacker? Your mother was a slacker, your father was a slacker, and you're a slacker.
Yeah.
No?
I would always get, you look just like your father. He was far more impressive than you. That always makes you feel good and work harder, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe not. Okay, Wayne, thanks,
day,
man.
guys.
You too. Looking for something different and delicious for lunch? Look no further. Hemstratz is now offering tasty, filling, delicious lunch items. The new grilled cheese is so delicious. It oozes with a rich French cheese that almost tastes like meat. Manaski, you noticed that when we tried it.
It's delicious. It really is. It's very filling. You wouldn't think that. At least I don't think that with a grilled cheese, but this one will.
And you wouldn't know it, but it's lactose-free as well. Yep. Too good to be true? No, it's real. Meant for 2. Meant for 1, but it's large enough for 2. Huge and delicious. Handcrafted ham, cheese, and spinach croissants. Sous vide egg sandwiches. Fruit Danish And soups are there as well. Don't think about it. Just come in and check it out. It's a great lunch stop. Hemstrath's Bakery at 900 Oswego Street, Utica, now serving lunch 7 days a week. Or you can visit them online at hemstraths.com. Coming up, a lot of questions for this whole thing about whether you've had it or never had COVID. The number of people who, this is according to experts now, the number of people who have never had it, so they think, but probably did have it. That's an interesting number as well. We'll get into all of that with Dr. Kent Hall coming up in a second. Also, later in the hour, great question for Hobica's free money question of the day. Completely doable here this morning. A chance to win $106.90. And DA Scott McNamara is on in regards to the bail reform press conference with Senator Griffo. And, you know, I got into it a little bit. I didn't mean to make it seem as if I'm arguing with him, because I'm not arguing with him over this. I'm just saying there's a guy out there that claims it's all being blown out of proportion. And I'd love to have Griffo and McNamara on when we have him on. He's an attorney, a defense attorney, you'd expect, who says that it's really not much different than it was before bail reform. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's what this guy is saying. There are plenty out there, from the sheriff to the DA, who say, listen, we're on the ground. That is not true. We'll speak to DA McNamara coming up in a bit.
These comments, you want them before or after the break?
Let's do a few now and we'll break.
All right. This is a follow-up to the YouTube feed is great. Hey, Bill, while I enjoy the YouTube feed and anxiously await the Christine high-definition feed, I feel as though I'm watching the old Kung Fu movies. Will the voices ever match the lip movement?
I think they should be matching now. If you check it now, they should be matching.
While I was in Syracuse, this is a follow-up to yesterday. Sue says, when I was in Syracuse last week, it was $3.39 a gallon at the mobile station out there.
Yeah, that's wild. Meanwhile, the rest of the country's going up.
John in Utica. Governor Ron DeSantis has taken decisive action as Hurricane Ian advances. He's inviting Florida meteorologists to board a charter flight and head for Martha's Vineyard. That was good.
It's funny. They were able to get all the illegals out of Florida, but they can't get their people out during an evacuation.
And we want to say good morning to the wife of Utica Councilman Joe Beatrice. His wife, Linda, says she loves the YouTube TV feed. It's 100% better than what we had on TV. And he just wanted us to acknowledge her because apparently she's up early watching us. So we say good morning to Linda Beatrice.
She just wants us to be nice to her husband. That's what I think. I'm kidding.
I'm always nice to Joe.
We love
And we
Joe.
were very grateful for our TV feed when we had it.
We absolutely were. But I hated it when it got bad and didn't get fixed. Just for the record, Christine, I know you're trying to be, Switzerland over there. But it blew to the point where it was unwatchable. Oh, my God. It was so bad.
It was actually great until it wasn't.
Yep, that's true. We just gave a moment of silence for the old feed.
Hang on, let me put up the blue screen.
All right, that's all we had. All I'm saying is thank you, Davey. Davey's got it up for you. Thank you, Davey. Blue screen is up. 7:23, we'll break, and Dr. Kent Hall is coming up next on WIBX.
I'm Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. Out of Touch Albany passed bail reform, despite almost every sheriff in the state opposing it, including myself. This makes us less safe. Corrections officers are in danger because of the HALT Act, and now new gun restrictions have sadly targeted law-abiding citizens. I will continue to fight these unsafe, unpractical, and even unconstitutional laws. I will also continue to help keep our community safe. Our children are safer in schools because nearly every school district in Oneida County has a trained member of the Sheriff's Office on duty. In Utica and other municipalities, our deputies stand with police to assist them because of an increase in crime. The men and women of the Oneida County Sheriff's Office are making a positive difference. I'm Rob Mashel, and law enforcement is my family. Your safety and their safety matters to me. This November, please vote for me to continue as your Oneida County Sheriff, paid for by the Friends of Rob Mashel.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. When your state planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for free estimate.
Hi, I'm Al Abaroa, founder of Knight Strategic Wealth. Inflation is a problem, markets are volatile, and the risk of running out of money in retirement is real. That's why I love annuities, and you should too. Your financial advisor doesn't want you to know that with our annuity strategy, when the stock market goes up, you earn a market-linked return that locks in every year, and when the stock market goes down, your annuity won't lose a dime. There are no unnecessary fees, and it works for your investments, money at a brokerage firm, or even money at a bank. It's simple, it's safe, and you should only invest if you learn the facts. And that's why savvy investors work with us. Want to learn more? Text FREE to 833-898-0500, and we'll send our retirement readiness kit directly to your phone right now. If you want to use safe, low-fee annuities to build a retirement portfolio that will go up with the market and never lose money, get our retirement readiness kit today and see how this strategy can help secure your future. Text FREE to 833-898-0500. Text FREE to 833-898-0500.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. I was talking a few minutes ago about the people in Florida. And right now, oh, Lord. So I was talking to, sometimes I shouldn't get text messages because it changes, when you get whatever. I'm sorry. I'm distracted.
I can actually tell that.
Because it distracts me. What was I saying? Yes. I was saying that and talking about the people of Florida. And right now, by the way, Cuba is getting hit pretty hard with this hurricane called, what's the name of it?
Ian.
Hurricane Ian. Man, that's so forgettable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I apologize to all Ians out there. It's a nice name, but it just doesn't seem like it's, Hurricane Brutus. Now, that would be like, no, we're going to run for the hills. Anyway.
Hurricane Ian should be running for Congress in upstate New York.
I think you're right. Actually, in Connecticut, I think would be even better. So I will say that we talked about Don Leibel, who's down there, and a lot of New Yorkers are down there either in the wintertime or year-round, and Don and his family are now permanently moved down there. And he talked about how it's just crazy experiencing the sand piles that are created with bags. And, Christine, you can explain it. They're getting ready to sandbag their homes, right?
Right. It's just against, flood waters.
Surge, the storm surge,
damage.
and that sort of thing. Yeah. You don't want
We
that.
used to do that. I mean, and they still do. They still put the wood on the windows and the plywood on
I
the
remember
windows.
that when I was in Rhode Island and Providence. Everybody boarded up their windows.
Right. And you just store that plywood,
Yeah. But there
away.
in the north, we don't have the same problems with where you could get the flooding, but we certainly get some of it here in the springtime. But there are no basements there in Florida, right? And you're so close to sea level, that storm surge can be such a big problem.
Right. And there's very little, underneath all that sand, there's limestone. And, it's not like in other parts of the country where you have, layers of bedrock below you.
On our YouTube live YouTube feed, which just go to youtube.com and search Keeler Livestream. It shows you a picture of that Don provided us of the sand pile, which is not all that large at the end of the day because so many people have been filling. But you see all these orange bags all over the place. People are just going there, filling up their sandbags and going home to try to protect their homes. And you see a great deal of that.
Look at the size of one of those sandbags. How many bags do you need to wrap around your house? And obviously you don't want just one layer. You probably want 2 layers. You got to be talking 100 sandbags at least.
You may be doing You might be doing 2 or 3 tall when you're going along there to stop that water from coming in. But I guess anything to prevent flooding and damage to your home and property, and that's what they're dealing with. Great place to be, Florida, but because the weather's so nice until it isn't.
Exactly.
Dr. Kent Hall standing by on the line right now. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good. This looks like it's going to be quite the storm.
Yeah, it really does. I hope everybody is indeed who's in the path of that storm is indeed heeding those warnings. I will tell you that my brother and his family live in Bradenton, which is just south of Tampa Bay. So.
All right. So, an interesting story I was reading about this morning in terms of So you thought you never had COVID, but maybe you did. Estimating that about 20% of people in general, 20% of the masses, they've had COVID and had no idea that they had it.
Yeah, that's. I've seen those numbers also. It's a pretty widespread, but I think 20% is pretty close to the middle of it. That's the people who were asymptomatic. They tend to be younger, and those are people that if you tested them to see if they had any antibodies, that you would find that they did. Now, obviously, given the fact that a number of people have gotten the vaccine, then that makes that more complicated as well.
Yeah.
But in general, which is why all of these are kind of estimations. There is no hard number for it. But 20%, I think that's probably, based on what I've read, a pretty reasonable number in terms of people who would have been infected but not really had any symptoms related to it, and so they wouldn't have known.
Interestingly, which leaves for about 7% of those who have never had it, who probably have never had it, and that again is another estimate. Right,
another estimate, and that's that could very well be true. It would be interesting if somebody did a study. This would be very difficult and probably pretty expensive. Do a study that would actually take a random selection of the population and just do immune testing on them or immune levels on them to see and correlate that to whether they had gotten the vaccine or not.
That's interesting. And it also talked about how it's really difficult to determine afterwards whether or not, and Christine was talking about how you could have your antigen levels recorded and determine if you've actually had the virus. But this story was saying that it's almost impossible to determine whether or not one has had it.
Yeah, because again, you could do the testing, to see if they've got any immunity that shows up in them, but then you'd have to correlate that to those people who had gotten vaccines,
right?
And so that would make it a lot more complicated, especially with the percentage of the population that has gotten some degree of vaccination.
So I'll ask you too about the flu. I'm hearing some stories of confirmed cases of the flu, and that this is September. That makes it pretty early. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, we are starting to see some flu cases. It's a small number, but it tends to pick up pretty quickly. And you're right. September is relatively early for the flu. Usually we start to see it much more around the mid-November time frame. But it is there. I will say the other thing that we're seeing a lot of is respiratory viruses in kids. And we're seeing a lot of kids, young kids, who need to be admitted to the hospital because of severe respiratory viruses. And this is not COVID. This is, and they're not simple colds. It's not like just a rhinovirus. These are, parainfluenza viruses, and there's probably like between 12 and 18 different viruses that can infect kids. But for some reason, the severity of illness that we're seeing now is more than what we have seen in the past.
Are we seeing a spike in like RSV as well?
So we have seen a spike in RSV. We're not seeing. So RSV is included in what I just said, but it's not probably the major virus which is causing it. We did see a spike in RSV in the spring and early summer this year.
And I don't think I'm breaking any rules here because Stefan Rubitsky, well, hello, Bill, had wanted people to know that he is doing well, but he is hospitalized with pneumonia right now, and it's not COVID. Are you seeing more of that? I mean, that's kind of what you're talking about in children, but what about adults?
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot. So I will say, and I'm just talking about the Mohawk Valley Health System, but in talking to my colleagues, this is true really everywhere anywhere that I've talked to somebody, is we are seeing a lot of sick people coming to the hospital. And there is no one particular thing. I would say that if you wanted to put it into buckets, infectious diseases across the board seem to be driving a lot of the significant illness that we're seeing, but it's not like it's just pneumonia or just GI symptoms or something like that. It's really across the board. This is really interesting, and if you are reading what's going on around the world, there's a for lack of a better term, there's a resurgence of infectious diseases, which is really driving a lot of people into healthcare. Needing a higher level of health care. Not exactly sure why, but that is the reality of the situation.
And I would assume that the things like polio become pretty scary for physicians. The fact that we basically had that taken care of, and now because of lack of vaccines, it looks like there's a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, and that is scary. A disease that in the United States and really most of the world, the vast majority of the world, had basically been essentially eradicated from, is making a resurgence. And this goes to when you get everybody. When you get everybody vaccinated so that there is global immunity, then the disease doesn't have a foothold. But if you don't have that, then the disease can get a foothold. It just needs to get out. And in this case, not fully understood yet, but what we do seem to know is that what happened down in the Westchester and Rockland area, area was may have been related to somebody who got a live virus, and then because that does, it's an attenuated virus, so it doesn't give you full polio, but it does stimulate your immune system, and it is live, but it can get into people who have not been vaccinated and are susceptible, and cause. And start to cause real disease, and that is at least a contributing factor. I'm not going to say it's 100%, but that seems to be a contributing factor to what was going on in the New York region.
All right, and then finally, has long COVID? We're seeing PSAs on TV about it now, commercials on TV talking about the effects of long COVID. It's kind of like fibromyalgia, right? You can't really see it. So others looking at you may be, well, I don't know, showing any signs, or, how do you determine if long COVID is what's causing the brain fog, or if long COVID is causing the fatigue and other conditions that seem to be coming with it?
Yeah, so great question, and you're right. It is what we call in the healthcare biz a subjective disease, which means that there isn't any. It's not like you can see a rash or something like that, or you can see it on an X-ray or something. So this is what the patients tell us, and really it's what we call a diagnosis of exclusion. So you need to make sure that there's nothing else going on. They're not having strokes. They're not having another infectious disease that can impact the neurologic system, because really long COVID seems to be more related to the nervous system than to anything else.
All right.
And so really, once you've kind of ruled out all of those things, and you can do testing to say, well, you have antibodies, it looks, or you actually tested positive for COVID, then that can lead you to it. But it takes some hunting, and again, long COVID not fully understood. We do know that COVID does affect not so much the neurons, but the cells that support and surround the neurons and give them their sustenance, their electrolytes and their fluids, and things like that. And that seems to be where COVID is causing issues. Then those cells need to regenerate, and they can take a long time, and if they're severely damaged, then they may not completely regenerate.
Talking to Dr. Ken Hall from MVHS. we're hearing. Do you want to take it?
Just a review of the state data on monkeypox shows that Oneida County has its first case of monkeypox confirmed. And I'm wondering if that's if you have any info on that. And is that an Oneida County resident, or does that mean the case was?
We're going back to that. Remember that fight during COVID, right?
Right. It's like so the person lives in a particular area, but they might be in Connecticut or something like that. Any info on that, Doc?
Yeah, so I don't have specific info. In general, the way that they're reporting now is that they're reporting based on what you're a citizen of. So if it's Oneida County, then it's a citizen of Oneida County. That in general, obviously there may be some issues with the data that needs to be cleaned up. I don't know any specifics about that particular case, not in the hospital, or at least not in the Mohawk Valley Health System. And I think if a monkeypox case had been admitted to the hospital, then we would. That is something that the other hospitals would be aware of. So I don't believe that they're sick enough to be in the hospital. Again, remember, monkeypox itself usually does not cause severe enough illness.
Right.
The monkeypox cause you to be in the hospital.
Okay.
You can be admitted for other reasons, and monkeypox may be a contributing factor.
Love the name monkeypox. Okay, Doc, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll speak again next week.
You bet. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Please be safe.
You do the same. Okay, Davey, let's do our free money question from the Hobeika Law Firm. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika, chance for you to win $106.90. Oh, how coincidental. We have an FM frequency at 106.9 FM. Wow. All right, what calling number?
5.
Caller 5 with a great question this morning. Caller 5 at 315-736-0186. Call right now. Your chance to win from Hobeika, 315-736-0186. Chance to win from the Hobeika Law Firm and WIBX.
Utica Comets, this is Roxanne.
Roxanne, it's almost hockey season. Put on the red light.
What? You just told me not to put on the red light.
No. You gotta put on the red light. Put on the red light. Put on the red light.
Okay, we get it. The season starts October 17th. Can I stop now?
Oh, come on. One more time.
Tickets on sale at uticacomets.com. See you October 17th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, an oil change with full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advance can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $36.99. Find your solution for better fuel efficiency today at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Adirondack Bank has the perfect mortgage ready for you. Your dream begins with Adirondack Bank. If you're thinking about a new home or a refinance, you're scaling down or moving up, then Adirondack Bank has the perfect mortgage to suit your needs. Their team of professional and dedicated staff can help you choose the product that is perfect for you. It's a local bank with local decisions. Mortgage options include fixed conventional, construction mortgages, FHA, VA, second home, vacation home, investment property, camp financing program, USDA rural housing loans, and the list goes on. It's all about finding the perfect mortgage that best suits your needs, tailored to you and your family. It's a local bank with local decisions. Go online to begin your experience at adkbank.com. Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, let's do the free money question. Jerry is taking a shot here in Utica here. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to take a shot here?
We're ready.
At Hobica's free money question of the day. The money comes from the Hobica Law Firm. We have a few consolations for you to take advantage of if you don't get it right. But let's get the money. Here we go, Jerry. You'll have 7 seconds to answer this question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here's your question. The first Air Jordan sneakers were released in what year? Pick a year. Ready? Go.
89.
Is it 1989? I don't want to give any clues here. Manaski wants to steal.
92?
No, actually, Jerry is closer. It was 1984.
What?
The Orwellian year of 1984.
What?
Yeah. That's the first Air Jordan sneakers.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
How-
Jerry, I have to say, Manaski seems more bothered than you, and he didn't lose anything here. Listen, we're going to give you a couple things. We'll do a table for 4 at Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Shows 7:30 on Friday, 7 and 9:15 on Saturday, located in Washington Mills. Also, a $25 gift card to 72 Tavern and Grill. If you've not been, you should go. They've just reopened for the upcoming season, located at the Adirondack Bank Center. Great food. And stand by, Jerry. Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Jerry. Have a great day. No cash, but some pretty cool items right there. Any questions, Davey? We good?
Is that for either Friday or Saturday?
Whatever they want.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever Jerry needs for Fat Cats Comedy Club. All right. The district attorney of Oneida County, who sometimes gets really annoyed with us, is on the line now. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Scott McNamara. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
Can we just clarify it's with Bill your annoyances
Oh,
with, not
come
Christine
on.
and I?
I love you, Jeff. You know that.
Well, I can read into that statement. No
I
doubt.
love you too, Bill.
All right. Well, listen. I don't know. Somehow we got into it where I'm looking like adversarial to Griffo when it comes to bail reform, and I'm not. I'm just saying we have an attorney who's coming on who claims that when you look at the numbers, based on judges' discretion, based on bail, people posting bail, what happened before bail reform and what is happening now, he claims isn't all that much different. How do you respond to that?
I would disagree with that, and because the problem with bail reform and anything in the criminal justice system is there's so many variables. You can twist any statistic to say whatever you really want it to say sometimes, and this is one of them. You know, I've seen the statistics where they're saying, oh, crime's not up. Well, crime is up. And then I've seen statistics where they're saying, you know, no more people are in jail, there's no less people in jail. That's not true. The numbers are down. And what it really boils down to is, I would go on the record and say I do believe there was need for bail reform. There were certain circumstances where bail was being set that it shouldn't have been set. So I don't disagree with the whole premise behind changing the bail. My problem was I think they went too far and they didn't consult law enforcement or DAs on what really needed to be done and what they were taking away, how that would affect us. And the example that I sent out recently to Senator Griffin and to Assemblywoman Buttonshine was a perfect example. You know, the allegations are that we have a gentleman that gets caught driving while intoxicated. His BAC was a .32, and he was issued tickets that would lead one to believe he caused the accident. Obviously, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
He, under bail reform, they had to issue him appearance tickets. Okay, so he doesn't even go to court. He has appearance tickets. So he gets a ticket, and then a month and a half later, meanwhile, he has appeared on that, pled not guilty in denying culpability. But a month and a half later, at the end of August, he gets arrested this time for having 2 children in the car, driving while intoxicated, and it'd be Leander's law this time, and the allegation is BAC was .30. Now, under the new reform that they just created, there was a lot of pushback by some people in the in the legislative circle saying, no, you could have set bail. No, we couldn't set bail because the way the new law was written, it said that if a person is charged with a felony or an A misdemeanor, okay, that has to be the underlying, and the new one is a felony or an A misdemeanor, then bail can be set if they have two. So basically, they did try to address it, but once again, they didn't ask us certain things, and this is a perfect example. DWI and aggravated DWI, the underlying crimes, alleged crimes in this case, are unclassified misdemeanors, not A misdemeanors. So therefore, we can't set bail. So it's little things like that my point is, it's not to continue this whining going on, but the reality is, if you would give judges discretion, because there's everything's too nuanced in the system, and this is a perfect example. Even when I was discussing it with somebody that was saying, no, I think you could, I said, no, DWI and aggravated DWI are classified as unclassified misdemeanors. And that person was, are you sure? I go, nah, I'm pretty sure. You double check it. And then all of a sudden he double checked it and he got back to me and goes, oh, you're right. I go, yeah. But my point is this. We have a public safety issue in assuming the facts in this case are true. And once again, this guy's presumed innocent and all this is just allegations. So, I want the listeners to keep that in mind. But if somebody like this were to kill somebody, the first question everyone's going to ask is, why is he out? Why is this person driving around? 2 accidents, children in the car, allegedly, and people are going to want to know why.
Yeah,
and if this person were to kill somebody, then you know what we're going to have? We're going to have another law named after a dead child.
Right.
And what I'm trying to do is prevent that from happening. We don't need another Leander's Law. We just need to fix these things now.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we need to. I know Senator Griffo wants to throw it out and start all over again. I understand that, and I do understand the logic behind that. I wouldn't have a problem if they did that, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm trying to be a realist about this. I don't think that's going to happen. What I want, and that's why I keep working with Assemblywoman Buttonshon, is to point out the flaws and to say, can we fix this problem? And fortunately, she has been very helpful every time I point one out to try to fix it and try to go back to the Assembly and the Senate and say, hey, listen, this is a problem. So right now, the DWI situation is a problem. If we have somebody that right now that gets 5 or 6 DWIs in a row, we can't ask for bail. And I think we should. And the other thing that bail reform didn't do, and I don't think this is ever going to happen, but I really wish they would, is allow the prosecution to argue dangerousness to the community or to a specific person. New York State is one of the few states that does not allow the prosecution to argue that for bail. We can't argue that, as a matter of fact. And when you're talking about, let's say, a domestic incident where you have a spouse that's been beat up severely numerous times, in the perpetrator saying, I'm going to kill you, we can't argue that point to the judge. Now, I use that example, but I don't want someone to come out and say, well, yes, but domestic violence, you can ask for bail. Yes, we can ask for bail. My point is we can't argue that this person is very dangerous, that we're, and the same thing what I'm talking about here with the DWI. We can't argue this person's going to kill somebody if we keep letting them drive with this very high BAC level. We can't make that argument under the law. I know Marianne's carrying a bill. I hope she's successful. I wish our state would start thinking more about victims and less about people that perpetrate crime on other people. But that's wishful thinking.
Well, it's almost. We took the cases which probably are small, where an innocent person spent time in jail, and then took one broad brushstroke and tried to fix everything, and it just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work well in the criminal justice system when you draw bright lines. Just like, for example, if I drew a bright line today in my office and I said, from now on, we're not going to reduce petty larceny cases. Let's say shoplifting's out of control. Now, what happens when you have a 90-year-old lady that goes into a store and steals a loaf of bread because she's starving to death? Are we supposed to, the DA's got a policy? No, that defies logic. You can't draw lines like that. You have to look at each case individually and use our discretion. what they're doing is they're making it like a computer makes the decision. It's a binary choice, yes or no, and that's what they've done with bail. And they've taken the discretion out of the prosecutor's hands, and they've taken the discretion, more importantly, out of judges' hands to look at these cases and make a decision based upon the facts that are presented before them in that case.
A good example of that was in California when they had the 3 strikes you're out, and the guy ended up going and getting, 25 years in prison, and he stole 2 pizza slices. At least where a judge could have looked at that situation. In this case, the judge's hands were tied. They had to do what they had to do according to the law. Jeff.
So I think I read somewhere New York is the only state in the nation that doesn't allow a judge to consider dangerousness to the community. But I want to ask you beyond that. You gave the example of DWI. I'm a devil's advocate here. I just want to clarify one thing. Did you say .32, which would be 4 times the legal limit?
Wow.
That's
with kids in the car.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And both of these involved accidents.
Wow.
The second one, there were children in the car.
Wow. All right.
His car, alleged. These are allegations. So once again, he's presumed innocent.
Yep.
And and I'm only saying the fact to make the argument for bail. I'm not, talking about the case, regarding the prosecution thereof.
Yeah, sure. So somebody might make the case. Well, maybe you go to dinner, you have a drink. This is not this alleged crime is not a criminal act. Somebody did not rob somebody, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just making that argument. Are there cases?
My argument would be made is over the 30 years I've been in the district attorney's office, you should see the things I've seen that were the results of people being intoxicated and then killing people, innocent people, children, or themselves.
Yep.
And and that's my issue. It is a criminal matter when you drive while intoxicated, and unfortunately, we've seen many people killed in some very high-profile cases. Fortunately, some of them are more in the rear-view mirror, like the professor from MDCC who was jogging got ran over. We've had some significant cases in our community where people have been killed. He was doing nothing but jogging, and somebody that was intoxicated ran him over.
Scott, I completely agree.
I know it's not the same as taking a gun out and shooting up your enemy's house or shooting at your enemy, but it is a dangerous activity, and there is a big difference. And our law has drawn differences between low level, having a couple drinks. That's not a crime. If you get a DWAI, that's not a crime. That's a violation of the vehicle and traffic law, but DWI is. And then they went so far as years ago to enhance the penalties if your BAC was higher than 0.18. And so when you're talking about people that are able to blow, to have blood tests as high as 0.30, 0.32, those are very intoxicated individuals.
Scott, I didn't say it was a good argument, but I said I was going to try to make the argument. Unfortunately, we are out of time. And maybe in the future, if there are actual criminal cases of assaults, robberies, things like that, where people have to be let go, I think that could be more impactful for the legislature. But I wish you luck.
Can I ask one quickie? And I have 30 seconds, Scott. The kids with the sculpture space, we talked about this yesterday. They go through the juvenile system. Will there be consequences for those kids, or does bail reform affect them?
Actually, the bail reform doesn't affect them. It would be more raise the age law, but actually I think they're so young that the raise the age doesn't even affect them. They go to probation. They're so young that they don't even get into the criminal justice system. I'm pretty sure that's
family court.
Probation.
Yep. Okay. All right. Interesting stuff, as always.
Thank you.
It's always nice when 2 attorneys can get together and chat, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thanks for having me on, Bill. It's always fun speaking to you. You got to get that ESQ at the end of your name.
Yes, I'm working on it. All right. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill.
DA Scott McNamara.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WYBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
It's time to go. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what a lot of people are being told along Florida's Gulf Coast as Hurricane Ian closes in, hitting western Cuba right now.
This is the worst case scenario for the Tampa region, and that's where we think the center of the storm is going to come on shore at around 5 p.m. on Wednesday. So running out of time for preparations all up and down the West Coast.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, Ian is now a Category 3 hurricane. Could be a Cat 4 when it hits. But what may be worse than the strong winds, all the water.
We have heard numbers between 5 to 15 feet of storm surge are possible here.
Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez in Tampa says it's a low-lying area, so.
Emergency officials warning people this is not a storm to take lightly. We heard the Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cornister really just begging people to evacuate.
Russia keeps up the attacks in Ukraine. Shelling today left at least 11 civilians dead as the voting concludes today in 4 regions that Russian forces had taken control of during the invasion. The expected result, the people in those areas approving becoming part of Russia. The U.S. calls that a sham. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says,
"We stand with our partners around the world in rejecting whatever fabricated outcomes Russia announces."
In Japan, a state funeral for Shinzo Abe, the former Japanese prime minister, shot by an assassin back in July. Vice President Harris among those paying respects, laying flowers. But outside, there have been protesters, critics of Abe, who don't believe he deserved a state funeral. The day before, the Democrat-led House Committee investigating last year's Capitol riot holds another public hearing. Jury selection begins in a federal court near the Capitol to put the founder of the Oath Keepers and 4 others on trial, charged with seditious conspiracy, accused of wanting to prevent Joe Biden being certified the election winner that day. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated to your freedom, equality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning. News time is 8:03. Your news is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. 52 degrees and overcast. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. A Central New York man is under arrest after police say he interfered with a driver driving a car and allegedly caused a crash on I-81. Police say 32-year-old Kevin Summers was arrested and charged with multiple charges after he grabbed the steering wheel while another person was driving. She was hospitalized. He had to be extricated from the car. Police say he also damaged restraints in the police station during the arrest. 2 people hurt in a stabbing at Liberty Gardens in Rome. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call or to call Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. A man arrested in connection with the double homicide in Syracuse last month is expected to be arraigned in court today. The Onondaga County DA says 46-year-old Jamel Weston was allegedly involved in the shooting deaths of 46-year-old Jamie Crawford and 32-year-old Alexis Sellin. Their bodies were found in an apartment. A disabled child was still alive at that residence when officers arrived. The search for 2 other suspects in the case remains underway. Police continuing their investigation into racist shooting threats that were sent to students at several high schools in central New York. Students at both Henniger High School and Corcoran High School received messages saying a shooting would take place yesterday, but nothing happened. Those threats were similar to ones made involving East Syracuse Manoa High School, which led to that school holding classes remotely. Students are back in their buildings today. Additional security will be in place. A lawsuit filed in the aftermath of the tragic death of a Christian Brothers Academy student earlier this year. In February, we told you about 15-year-old Christian Cuomo, who was skiing at Bristol Mountain Ski Resort when he was thrown from a ski jump and ended up falling to the ground. He later passed away from his injuries. According to the Post-Standard, his mother believes access to the area where her son got hurt should have been closed off. Well, they are going to debate. The two candidates looking to represent the 22nd Congressional District have agreed to take part in multiple debates. Democrat Francis Canola and Republican Brandon Williams are trying to represent the newly formed district, which now covers Oneida, Madison, and Onondaga counties, as well as a portion of Oswego County. Election day is November 8th. The New York State Department of Health launching a new website to support New Yorkers dealing with the effects of long COVID. Officials say anyone who tests positive for COVID-19, even children, is at risk of getting long COVID, and symptoms could last for months. The Mega Millions drawing has come and gone without a winner. That means the jackpot is still on the rise. Whomever picks all the correct numbers ahead of tonight's drawing will be able to claim at least $325 million. There were several $1 million winners, including one in New York. You can read that full story at WIBX950.com or on our app. Your Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. A chance of showers this afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high near 63 degrees. More showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm tonight. Cloudy skies with a low around 50. Wednesday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a high around 60. A chance of showers on Wednesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 44. And things get brighter on Thursday. Your temperature is brought to you by Country Suburban, your premier Lennox dealer. 52 right now and overcast. WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. News time is 8:06, 52 degrees. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. Cooper rushed through the go-ahead touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb as the Cowboys knocked off the Giants 23-16 on Monday night. New York had a chance to tie the game late in the fourth, but Daniel Jones threw an interception to end the game. The Giants suffer their first loss. They now drop to 2-1 on the season. The Jets, hoping their starting quarterback returns from injury this week. Head coach Robert Saleh saying they're still awaiting confirmation that Zach Wilson will be fully cleared to return from his August 6th knee injury. The Jets visit Pittsburgh on Sunday. More football injuries around the league. An NFL star being hospitalized with a non-life-threatening injury after he rolled his vehicle several times yesterday. Police say Browns defensive end Myles Garrett lost control of his vehicle on his way home from practice and flipped his car several times. He and a female passenger were both wearing seatbelts. They were treated and evaluated at local hospitals. Again, those injuries are not considered life-threatening. The Patriots will be without starting quarterback Mac Jones for multiple games. He suffered a severe high ankle sprain and could potentially need surgery to fix the issue. The Chargers taking a major blow to their offensive line as left tackle Rashawn Slater will miss the rest of the season with a torn left biceps. And the Lions losing safety Tracy Walker after he confirms a torn Achilles will leave him on the shelf for the rest of the season. The Mets were off last night, but they lost a half game in the standings to the Atlanta Braves. Their lead in the National League East now down to just one game. Mets, Braves, and Yankees all have 8 games to play in the regular season. By the way, Atlanta's win yesterday clinched them a playoff berth. The Mets open a brief 2-game series in Miami tonight against the Marlins. Carlos Carrasco on the hill. Aaron Judge and the Yankees lost in extra innings to the Blue Jays last night, 3-2 in 10. Aaron Judge was walked in his plate appearance in the 10th inning, still looking for the 61st home run of this amazing season that he's had.
And we have talked about it. I mean, imagine 8 games remaining. Imagine if it didn't happen. It's terrible to think about.
It is. I'll tell you, I'm rooting for Judge, man.
I am too.
I'd love to see the sour look on some Yankee fan faces, but I'm kind of rooting for Judge here over the other.
Last night in Toronto, every game right now is, there's a story up on our site about the 7 things you have to do. If you go to one of these games and you were to catch one of the home run balls, from here on out, every home run ball has value, potentially, right? So when he hit 61, that'll always be the one that tied the record. And then when he hits 62, that'll always be the one that broke the record. Those 2 balls will be etched in history. But wait a minute. What if he hits 63? Will 62 be worth anything? I think it'll be still an important one. But what if he hits 64? That 63rd hit won't be all that valuable, right?
I completely agree.
It's going to be, there's a lot of moving pieces here.
As an odd analogy, there's the situation with Tom Brady, who threw his final touchdown pass.
Good,
And that ball
yes,
went for
yeah.
a ton of money, and then he decided to unretire. And
Yeah,
the fan
all
was
of a
like, I
sudden.
want my money back.
Yeah, all of a sudden the ball wasn't worth anything. Now, I don't think that'll happen here because you're still, hey, I got his 63rd, I got his 64th, I got his 65th. If that were to happen, all of those are valuable. The value will change depending on, obviously there'll be the tying, there'll be the breaking of the record, but then what is the record? Does he go even higher? But what this story goes and talks about is how you should be prepared. If you're one of those that's seated in an area where you might get a home run ball, you should be prepared. First thing you should do is contact security because you have at least a $50,000 ball in your hand.
Wow. Oh, I
Think
didn't
about
think of
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's estimated that whether it was number 60 or 61, 2 or 3, anywhere from $50,000 to $500,000.
Yeah, you're talking about a lot of money, so you got to be prepared.
And again, I don't think all Yankees fans are bad. I just think most of them are. Here's a great
Yeah.
example of an awesome Yankees fan. His name's Mike Kessler, if I'm saying that correctly. He was in the stands recently at a Yankees game. I believe this was last Tuesday. Aaron Judge belted his 60th home run, tying the big Bambino, Babe Ruth, number 60. Very, very rare that a hitter hits 60 home runs in a season. He gets to 60. You know what Kessler got for that baseball? A photograph with Judge and a couple of his buddies. Kessler wanted Judge to have his own piece of history and wanted to give it back to him for free.
Wow, because
Kid's 20 years old, by the way.
A lot of people will. That's because he doesn't know any better. I mean, right now his parents are taking care of him. I mean, this is another entitled kid who just come on, whack him, give him 10 years. What do you think he would do? He'd become Manansky. He wouldn't give that $20 bill back. That ball he probably could have sold for at least $5,000 or $10,000 easily. Could have sold it back.
But now he's
Or-
part of the story,
or
and that's
more.
priceless.
Yeah, it's priceless while it lasts, Christine. Then nobody's going to know who he is.
Yeah, I hate to say this.
You're
but
right. A very nice deed.
I think it's an outstanding thing, a tip of the cap to that young man. But I'm telling you, for a guy who has millions and millions of dollars,
Yeah.
it's not like you're putting him out to ask for $50,000 for
Right,
the ball.
right. They're also saying, Rob is saying that all the balls are marked when he comes to bat.
Yes.
That's interesting. But they say that if you catch it, you should automatically get security, and they'll take you because they're going to be ready for you. They will be ready for you. And you should get the ball authenticated by Major League Baseball. That's step number one.
Just one more thought on this, if we could. J.P. Cohen, and thanks, Mayor. J.P. Cohen, who is the president of Memory Lane Auctions, is already offering for home run 62. Let's assume he gets there.
Okay.
$2 million.
Wow. So the estimate that I had in my story has changed because that was like up to $50,000 or possibly more. Well, that's a lot more.
Oh, significantly more. And again, keep in mind here, he's offering $2 million. Now, he's going to offer more than typical because he wants to be the one who buys it. He doesn't want to get outbid by Judge, right?
Right.
He wants a fan to know, I got $2 million.
I got
I'm
it.
calling JP.
And then what's 63 going to be worth if that happens?
Well, my question is, what's 62 worth if that happens?
You're
Because
right.
it's no longer the...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mike in Schuyler. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing? 62. I think the reason why I think 62 is going to be real valuable is because once he gets that, he'll have more home runs than any individual Yankees ever had. Because,
right.
It was Ruth and Maris, and I think because the 62 is going to be special to that point, even if he gets 63 and 64 and so forth.
Well, I think 62 will 62 and 63, if there are 62 and 63, will both live in history as being, but then, so 62, 63, and whatever the high mark is, will be three balls that will live in history. But let's say there are 68, all those in between are just going to be, well, that's cool, but, you didn't get the big one.
I know.
Yeah.
And one thing I forgot to tell you, I upgraded my phone with the iPhone.
I did too. I got can you mind holding for a few minutes, Mike?
Sure.
All right,
sure.
stand by. Don't go anywhere. I'll get to you. But how do I say it? Jennifer Nassor?
I believe so.
Hi, Jennifer. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
She is the chairwoman, the former chairwoman of the Massachusetts Republican Party. And right now, so here's the word. Liz Cheney says, if Donald Trump is the nominee, I will no longer be a Republican. What do you think?
Well, I guess that was catchy for a headline.
Yeah.
I don't know what it does for her political career or for the Republican Party, quite honestly. You know, her voting record in Congress had always been very conservative. I understand her frustration with the former president because he wasn't kind to her father or to her. However, you know, those are family feuds, right? Those are things that should be done behind closed doors. And as a former party chair, I find it to be offensive to democracy because at the end of the day, primaries are won by the candidate and by the voters who vote for that candidate. And there's no one person who's going to anoint Trump as the next nominee. That's going to go through the democratic process of a Republican primary. And so, you know, I don't know what she's trying to get from that other than a headline, but I feel like it's a very ill-informed statement.
What if her reasoning was not the family feud, and you mentioned bad for democracy? What if her reasoning was the way Trump has reacted and acted on January 6th and since then is very dangerous to the Republic, and that's her reasoning?
So again, I don't disagree with that, right?
I'm not making it the statement that that's the case. What I'm saying is, what if that's her reasoning, that it's not a family feud, that she finds that he's crossed the line when it comes to democratic values, not Democrat-Republican, but democracy. What if that's her reasoning? Wouldn't that be and I argue with people about this all the time, wouldn't that be noble?
It would be noble. But again, if Donald Trump appeared on a primary ballot with 10 other people and he was selected as the nominee, it went through the democratic process.
I understand that.
Right? So,
yes.
So I think that's my differentiation is that I do understand that I do understand that. And I don't disagree with it. But at the end of the day, the voters determine who the nominee is. And unless he's precluded from being on the ballot, then that's a different story.
I'm in a very argumentative mood today, and I apologize. So, listen,
that's okay. I'm always in an argumentative mood.
You'd have to be, being at the position you were elevated to. That's a big deal. But I'll ask you this: what if her determination is based on that democratic process that the Republican Party no longer represents her, and that she no longer can be in the Republican Party because of that?
Right, and so
that becomes a personal decision.
Then she has to decide. Is she? I mean, listen, I'm from a state. You guys aren't much better than me, but you know, I'm from a state where we're led by Elizabeth Warren, Ayanna Pressley, right, Ed Markey. I mean, you can't think of people that are more left of the left of the left.
Right.
And so, you know, is she then going to walk in lockstep with them? Is she going to then become a Democrat and really be supportive? Look, and there are Democrats of all different stripes across the country,
I
get that. You know, like a Joe Manchin is very different than an Elizabeth Warren.
No doubt.
But there's no third party, right? Look at what Ross Perot, with all of his money and everything that he was able to do, he still wasn't able to get there.
That's a good point, because what is she now for what does she accomplish, right? If she becomes George Will, a man without a party.
Well, and I think what there's an opportunity here for her to actually be a leader in the Republican Party and say, I don't agree with with Trump's statements, and I don't agree with January 6th, and I have all of these views about Trump, but let me tell you what we need. We need a new generation of leaders. We need younger leaders. We need women who are running for president as Republicans, and we need to own a different message, which is on the economy, and it's on crime, And it's on the things that Republicans are really into the weeds on emotions instead of being able to be a leader on issues.
That's a
fair point. That's a fair point.
Great point. Great point. Christine.
That's a fair point, definitely. And I guess the other thing, emotions aside, very few Republicans came to her aid in her last election. But you could make an argument publicly. But I mean, that's what needs to be done.
Right.
And I would postulate that if she were to run as an independent, she would be the most successful independent to date. I mean, look at how far we've had. I mean, you mentioned Ross Perot, but Bernie Sanders.
I hate to say, but I disagree, and I'd like Jennifer's take. I disagree because technically, Jennifer, Democrats really hate her. I mean, there is no love.
I don't think they do.
I don't think when the minute they see Liz Cheney's policies are conservative, so conservative that she denied gay marriage, and she has a sister who's gay. So I don't think you're going to find liberals that are going to be welcoming her to the party. What do you think, Jennifer?
No, so I mean, again, New York, Massachusetts, we're pretty much the same. I've run for office, and I have Democratic friends and colleagues that would not come out and publicly support me because they're Democrats.
Right.
And although as a Republican in a very Democratic state, I have supported my Democratic friends because I know who they are. So they have said, I will support you quietly, but they would not come out front. And so that's going to be the same thing that Liz Cheney faces as, hey, look, we like what you did on this, but unless you're 100% with us on abortion, which is now not pro-choice, it is pro-abortion. If you're 100% with us on open borders, if you're 100% with us on, defunding the police BS and all of that stuff, she's just not going to get the support because they want you to be, the current Democratic Party wants you to be a purist on all of their issues.
And that's that's America right now, right? That's scary.
We're very, very polarized. And I think what we need, again, I would have preferred her saying something along the lines of, we need a new generation of leaders. I would have preferred her saying we need to get back to the issues that are important to the Republican Party and to take a stance as a leader instead of acting as a sore loser and acting with emotions. And I think that is really a downfall, for politicians.
Well, you beat me this morning. You're right. I think you're absolutely right.
That's a big accomplishment this morning.
Wow.
The one Republican in Massachusetts has actually just crushed us here. Actually, I wonder, what is Massachusetts like as compared to New York? I worked in Providence, and I think as you get to the rural areas, more Republican. Like upstate is very Republican, and there's a lot of mass. There's a lot of property upstate. But what's Massachusetts like?
So Massachusetts is pretty representative of the 5 boroughs and maybe a little bit of Long Island. Though I'm originally from Nassau County, so I say this with some authority.
Yep.
Nassau County was really an example last election cycle. Doing a great job electing Bruce Blakeman as county executive. Who I was with in the Nassau County legislature many years ago. So Massachusetts, though, I mean, every single member of our congressional delegation is a Democrat, and they try to out-liberal each other. I mean, when I say that Congressman Steve Lynch, is the most conservative that we have, that's saying something.
Yeah.
And we have a Republican governor who, unfortunately, is not seeking re-election. And we have a Massachusetts Republican Party chair who believes that we actually have the same politics and policies as Alabama. So we're doing great here. We have about 33 of 200 members of our legislature are Republican.
Wow, there's your polarization. And, New York right now, it used to be New York had, the Republicans had the Senate, so you had a balance, and that doesn't exist anymore because now Democrats have a supermajority, Democratic governor, Assembly, and Senate. So,
Well, hopefully that changes with Lee Zeldin. I'm plugging for him. I hope that he wins.
It'll be
and
interesting.
becomes the next governor.
Yep. We'll see what happens. Jennifer, I'd vote for you. Jennifer and Nasor, thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day. Thank you. Mike, stand by. I know you've been waiting, but I got to break quickly, and we'll get right back with you. And I want to hear what you have to say about the new iPhone. And some, right now, Apple TV Plus is the only place to watch Friday Night Baseball, if your game is the game. Fred F. Collis & Sons, cooling and insulation, has been in business for more than 85 years, and nobody does business like Collis. They completely take care of their customers. And with cooler weather setting in as we enter the fall season, many people are probably turning on their heating system for the first time. If you're having any trouble with your system or are in need of replacement, you can count on Collis. Remember what a difference upgrades make in insulation, what that can do for you when it comes to cooler weather. Avoid cold floors and drafty rooms, and don't make your heating system work harder than it needs to. Collis can help with that as well. Right now, a number of rebates available that you might qualify for that could offset your cost of your project. Right now, we're meeting with Collis talking about a new heating and cooling system because ours is pretty old. Got to make the move. Nobody any better. Collis. Collis, Fred F. Collis & Sons, heating, cooling, and insulation, Yorkville, Rome, and now in Syracuse.
Sometimes my inner me wishes it could have a do-over. I mean, I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I'd never cut my bangs. I even wish I hadn't chosen the bank I did.
Well, some do-overs are easier than others. You should make the switch to Adirondack Bank. They're a local bank with friendly people and competitive products. I just opened a hometown checking account. There's no fees or minimum balances, and I even get online banking and mobile banking.
Well, switching to Adirondack Bank really does sound like the do-over I need. Oh, but I still wish I'd never gotten that spring break tattoo.
That one is harder to fix.
Make the switch and open your hometown checking account today. There's a minimum deposit of $25 to open the account. Visit your local branch or online at adkbank.com for more information. Member FDIC.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Guys, want an effective, affordable way to get ED medication 100% online? Whether you're looking for Viagra or Cialis, or generic medications as effective as Viagra but 90% cheaper, you can find it all through HIMS. HIMS is your go-to for doctor-trusted treatments to help you treat ED. Get ED treatment for as low as $3 per use and save up to $1,000 per month with generic for Viagra versus the brand name at 4hims.com/radio. If prescribed, your medication will be shipped to your door in discreet packaging. Do it all online. No in-person appointments. Get hard results with HIMS or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. That's 4hims.com/radio to get started free. forhims.com/radio.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, "Best product I've ever used," and "Amazing, I love my Navage." That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started. Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Earn more for every dollar saved with AmeriQ. Open a new 12-month share certificate at 2.53 APY. Save more with your credit union. Get started at AmeriQ.org/save today. APYs are current as of June 21st and are subject to change without notice. Minimum balance to open is $1,000. Fees may reduce earnings. Withdrawals of principal are subject to early penalties. Insured by NCUA. AmeriQ. For every day. For everything.
Once again, the Good News Center is proud to present the annual Flags for Heroes, honoring active military, veterans, and first responders. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director of the Good News Center. We are proud to present our 8th annual Flags for Heroes, with all proceeds benefiting Citron's military program. Here's Jackie Warmoth, Vice President of Citron's Clinical Development.
Our veterans are struggling and they need to be listened to. And when you listen to them, a lot of times they have the answers, and you just need to help them get to their next goals.
Sponsor your flag today and be a part of this beautiful tribute displaying 1,000 American flags along Utica's Memorial Parkway, November 2nd through the 13th. Honor your hero for their courage, sacrifice, and dedication to our country. Take time to walk the field of flags and be a part of the ceremony on November 5th at 3:30 at the Parkway Center. Call us today at 315-735-6210 or log on to thegoodnewscenter.org. 315-735-6210 or log on to thegoodnewscenter.org.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Mike has been waiting for quite a while. Mike and Rome, why is it no longer... I see Mike and Skyler. Why are you Mike and Skyler? Mike? Oh, I have you here. Why are you Mike and Skyler now? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved to Skyler.
Oh, you moved to Skyler. Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. So, I wanted to tell you. Well, I had the iPhone 11 from I was on the plans for Spectrum, so it was a pretty old phone. So I switched. I went over to Verizon, and they gave me $1,000 for the phone. $1,000.
Wow.
With a promotion, and $200 for switching the line. And I got the iPhone 14 Pro Max.
So, what do you think of it? What do you think?
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. It took me about a day I did my backup before I went over there.
Yeah.
One thing too, just to keep, when you get the new phone, do you usually exchange your phone in when you get the new phone?
I didn't this time because I didn't end up getting it. I didn't this time because I'm going to turn around and sell it outright, and I'll get over $1,000 for my phone because it's in pretty good shape. I have the 12 Pro.
That's 1,000.
And I went to the 14, right? Yeah. Normally I sell it on eBay and somebody steals it at border control, and then I lose everything. Have to return the money to the person. I'm being very careful this time. But what do you think of the? It's amazing today with the new, and I'm sure Samsung, all the other ones do the same thing. But when you say you've had a phone, you have all your pictures and everything's on the phone. You now set them side by side, hit a button, and it does everything for you. It's unbelievable.
I know.
And the other thing that's cool is you can now have multiple lines on one phone. So it came to me with a phone number, and I put my old phone number on it. So yesterday I'm calling people, and they're like, I don't recognize this number. Oh, it's because it's my other line. I got two lines now. Right? No one would know who you are.
That's
are.
That's great.
And the camera's really amazing. I haven't had a chance to really go through it. But so your take on everything so far, Mike.
I like it. I'm glad. I tell you, it feels really nice when you go from an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 14.
That's a big, I think that's a big switch. Yeah.
And
I'm on
going back to Verizon, taking advantage of that deal.
I have the AT&T plan where you automatically get upgraded. So you just so you're basically leasing it. When these phones are costing over $1,000.
I'm super impressed with Minaski because he still has an 8 that works.
I have an 8 Plus. It still works.
It's fairly new though.
Well, no, I've had it since when you and Andrew got the 10.
Yeah.
I got the 8 Plus.
Okay. Wow. That was
so
a
that's
while
still
back.
3-4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I have not had a phone that works more than 2.5 years. I mean, I'm hard on my phone.
Yeah.
Chris, I would make the argument you haven't had a phone that works more than 2.5 months. I mean, you just got that one, and you have some text issues occasionally with it.
Yeah, you're right.
I know somebody who got rid of their phone because the screen was cracked. And you can get those replaced, but didn't want to go through all that.
Yeah.
Turns out it was the glass covering, the protectant, that was what cracked. And the screen was in perfect shape.
I have to tell you, I have a very.
You might have had the same thing happen.
We all went to a hockey game when I first got this phone,
Yeah.
and I dropped it in the hinge of a seat,
Mm.
and it cracked the protector. And I went, "Oh my God! I've had this phone for 2 days. I cracked my screen." I continued with that protector, thinking I didn't want to pull it off because I'd ripped the screen or something. It was broken, and then that was for about 2.5, 3 years. And then I happened to be, the protector, the cover became loose. I started playing with it, and I was like, wait a minute. That underneath isn't cracked.
Peeled it right off.
I had a perfect screen for
Yeah.
2.5 years. Never.
That's pretty cool. I want to show you something.
The one thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Because you were talking about that.
Go ahead.
One thing too is, a lot of times you get your phone to the carrier. They ask if you want the insurance. The insurance is like $18, $19 a month.
Yeah.
I always say no to the insurance because with the Apple Care, you get better benefits.
Oh,
so you
yeah,
can-
You want to get Apple Care, not the insurance.
So
Yeah.
with a new phone, it basically you have two choices. You can do regular Apple Care Plus, which is $10 a month, and that gives you if
see
anything
that.
happens to the screen, it's $30 for the deductible.
Yep.
And I think anything else is like $100.
Okay.
But there's other plan now. It's a new one. It's $13.49, which I went with that one because that one covers theft and loss too.
Really? Wow.
And with that, basically, if it's I think I want to say it's $200. I think if it's lost,
$200
but it's a
deductible.
brand new
You get a
phone
brand new
you
phone.
get For that.
That's a cool. That's pretty cool.
And you have a choice of either paying lump sum,
Yeah.
or you can just pay monthly. And I pay monthly because I still had protection for the iPhone 11. I was paying $10 a month.
That's really that's cool. I want to show the one reason that I love the new phone so much is this Steadicam technology, because I use this for work. I find that I'm shooting more video for commercials with the iPhone than I am with my Sony camera, which is far more expensive than the iPhone. So I'm going to show you. Davey and I just did a little test. Davey, you okay after that? I mean, a lot of running you did.
Yeah, I'm tired out.
I know. Oof. Man, that was tough. So listen, here we go. This is Davey running down the hallway without the Steadicam feature. Now, it's not bad. iPhone does a really nice job, the regular one. But you can see we're kind of bouncing just a little bit
Wow,
up
you're
and
getting
down.
in shape there, bud.
He's doing well. He's doing well.
You were running with him, weren't you?
Now, I was running with him. Now watch with the Steadicam. Watch
Are you
how
putting this on YouTube?
I can do that. Watch how smooth this is. Are you able to see it?
Yes, I was. I don't think our viewers were, but yeah, no, okay. I see what you put up on the screen there. I thought you were just showing me.
Here's without the Steadicam. And you can see it's kind of bouncing up and down just a little bit. We're showing it on YouTube right now. All right. And I'm done, right? Okay, there's Davey. And now Davey running with the Steadicam on.
I feel like this is Davey here.
Gliding.
JR, what's going on? Oh, it's interference. He's coming down to the ring.
Gliding through the air. I mean, it just is so smooth, Mike.
That's cool.
That is the coolest thing. But again, what happens? You get the new phone, your case doesn't work. So you got to get another case, and it doesn't come with a block anymore for the charging. You should have your own block. If you don't, you got to get a block to plug into the wall. So,
I mean, I feel
everything
like
is more expensive.
The only thing that's more abundant than those blocks are plastic bags.
Yeah, you're right.
They're everywhere.
Okay, Michael. Thanks, man.
Oh yeah. One last thing, I forgot to tell you too. Before I went to get the new phone, because you're getting rid of the old one.
Yeah.
I always do my backup before I go, so I did the backup now.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing: because they give you 2 weeks to turn in the old phone.
Right.
And so the trick part is with that, because if you do your backup, the new phone is not up to date. So you have to basically set up the new one as a new phone before you do the backup.
Right.
To get all the updates. And then when I did that, and then I tried to restore from backup, I didn't see my backup I just done. Why don't I see it? You know what it was? It showed 3-hour difference, because the new phone, it shows California time. So that's where the main thing is. I didn't even think about it, so then I realized.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's crazy.
Like,
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good stuff. Only you and I care about this, Mike. Everybody else is bored to death.
I don't, unless they're going through. I mean,
Yeah, there are people out there. There are some people out there like us. Okay, Michael, thank you, man.
You too. Have a good day, guys.
And welcome to Herkimer County.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Slow down while you're there.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high quality, solid built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers, a solid, dependable brand, providing innovative furniture design with every single piece. The leader in furniture with the award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. They'd love you to come in and browse their extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. If you're looking for furniture, you must make a stop at Adirondack Home Furniture as you create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture, 315-738-7817. Quick break, and we'll come right back. And Christine with a news update as well coming up on WIBX.
Montessori Preschool at Notre Dame Elementary School was voted #1 in the Observer Dispatch's Best of the Best. Enrollment for this year is still open, so apply now to reserve a place for your child. Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School is for children 3 to 5 years old and follows the educational principles of Maria Montessori. Our teachers and assistants work one-on-one and in small group instruction to help children develop their potential in an engaging environment, inspiring creativity, better self-discipline, and self-correction and assessment. At Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School, language, art, science, math, and geography are all part of the curriculum. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom teachers offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process and help children become lifelong learners. Enrollment is still open, so apply now. For more information, call 315-724-5118, extension 35, or visit NotreDameUtica.org. That's NotreDameUtica.org.
Are you getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rate subject to change at any time. See branch or GPOFCU.com for full details.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
I'm Mary Finnegan, and I'm running for Oneida County Clerk. I'm the youngest of 7, and we still live locally. My dad was a World War II veteran, and my 95-year-old mom remains the backbone of our family. As a single mom working 2 jobs, I decided to run for public office and kept the job of town clerk in Whitestown for the last 17 years. Now I want to take that experience and serve the people of Oneida County. In Whitestown, I pushed to modernize the town offices and submitted and won a grant that brought our records department into the 21st century. All of this, and we still kept the public's information safe. If you elect me clerk, I'll do the same for Oneida County. I also understand the importance of customer service, working well with others, and recognizing people's strengths. If elected, the DMV will be my top priority. Designated lines, DMV navigators, and good old-fashioned customer service is where I'll begin on day 1. If you need a county clerk who can hit the ground running on day 1, then I am the right person for the job. I'm Mary Finnegan, and I would so appreciate your vote this November for Oneida County Clerk, paid for by the Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started.
Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, New York Sash is kicking off their bathroom makeover sale, where you can get 20% off your dream bath remodeling project. The New York Sash installers can give your bathroom a whole new look in just a day. It's amazing. For us, though, I don't know, it was about a day and a half. You just had to come back and clean up a couple things in the bathroom. But they did a ton of work in our bathroom when they did it. 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale right now. New York Sash tub and shower products never mold or mildew. Makes it easy to clean and maintain. Will not chip, scratch, or peel. New York Sash has also a complete line of colors, patterns, accessibility products that can be customized to any bathroom or budget. The New York Sash bath remodeling solution is affordable, and right now you can get 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. Don't spend another day in the outdated, stained, cracked tub. Go online or visit the New York Sash Design Center on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro today. Adrian Bartholomew, is that you, Adrian?
Yep,
good morning.
that's me.
Nice and tight on the microphone here. And say good morning to everybody. There
Good
you go.
morning to everybody.
So you are from hospice and of the holiday bereavement program that is going on. Talk about that.
So we are excited to be bringing back grief in the holidays. It's been a couple years since we've been able to have everybody in person. It's a really nice workshop because it's a blend of education on what you can expect when you're experiencing grief in this holiday season, but also a chance to meet some other folks in the community. And we open it up to questions and answers. It's a nice time.
Yeah. A problem, right? The holidays?
Yeah, it can be. There's some people that experience grief and they feel close with their family, and then there's some where they just feel really lost, and it's kind of a combination.
You know, on a much smaller scale, my grandmother would always host holidays, and thank God My grandmother lived a long, beautiful life. She was almost 90 years old when she passed. She beat cancer. A lot of amazing things. It wasn't like a tragic, unexpected ending. But it is different around the holidays. We don't go to her house anymore. There is almost a feeling of disconnect. And then on the other side of the family, I have multiple cousins. Almost every one of them says, it's never been the same since Grandma was gone. I mean, and people feel this. It's almost, I don't know if it's the first feeling you have as a child around the holiday season, but at some point, the people at the table change over the years, and it's a different feeling.
You use the word different like 3 times, so I'm going to try not to be your therapist right now. Because you just gave a personal experience, and I'm over here going, don't do it.
Yeah.
So the word different is important, though, right? Doesn't have to be bad, doesn't have to be worse. It'll be different, and that's true. People have traditions. Certain people cook certain pies. Certain people sit at certain chairs, the head of the table. So being able to talk to your family, though, that's the biggest thing. No matter what's going on in any of your families, if you can talk openly, that's going to be what gets you guys through it.
Yeah. It is, there's no doubt when you lose someone, especially if you've lost someone, it's hard when, as you said, your grandmother lived a full life, but there's still a great deal of grief.
We miss her.
Certainly do. It can be incredibly traumatic when it's someone who goes unexpectedly at a younger age. That just can be very difficult.
Yeah, and it's just trying to deal with how do we cope as a family. And if that was in the middle of June, okay, yes, very difficult. But now we're coming up on the holidays where there's music in the mall. People are smiling. Everyone's cheerful. And your heart is not cheerful.
Yeah.
So it's kind of trying to make your way in a moment where they expect, joy and friendliness. And you're feeling kind of rotten.
I'm sure everybody's, I'll use the word again, different.
There you go.
But is the recommendation that you maintain what the tradition is, or that you veer off and do something a little different if there is a problem with grieving over a lost loved one?
Right. So it's going to be each family. We've had some folks that truly cannot tolerate that experience, and they need a year off, right? And that's the nice thing, as we say, this year. So maybe this year you do every single tradition exactly the same, and that's what helps your family. Or anywhere's in the middle, and that's the best part, is you can make any kind of adjustments. Maybe you go to the same person's house, but you have less food. So it becomes a family conversation. What's going to work for all of us this year?
And when you try to make Grandma's, macaroni and cheese, and everybody's like, not even close.
Nope.
You
It's
feel
definitely
terrible.
not burned enough. We need to burn it more. I'm just teasing Grandma.
But it's like anything else. I'm sometimes I wonder about our traditions where, we go in. So now it's the day of the funeral and the wake. And so now we're all having to stand there, and you're walking through as people walk by. And there's an open casket or not an open casket. You follow through all of the protocol, the things that we do traditionally, and you wonder. But at the same time, sometimes I think by design there is a healing process there.
Absolutely.
So a lot of it depends on just doing what makes you feel comfortable, I guess. And
Correct.
these can be tough times. So okay, so Grief and the Holidays is a workshop being hosted by Hospice. Happens October 16th from 2 till 4. How does someone register?
So they're going to want to call 315-735-6487. You're going to dial extension 1214, and you're going to get a voicemail. Let us know your name, phone number, how many people you're going to bring with you, and that's all it is. It's very simple.
Do you find people tend to come individually, or do they come as a family unit?
A mix. We've had people come by themselves. We've had people bring their siblings, which is nice. If it's, say we're counseling one person, they bring all their siblings to the workshop.
Sure.
Right.
So it's nice because maybe you're not ready for grief counseling, but the workshop is a chance where you could be present, soak up the information, and maybe not share if that's just not your comfort zone yet.
And this is a one-time, or is this you
Yes.
meet? Okay,
Yep,
this is a
one time.
gathering. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, great. Once again, it's happening October 16th from 2 to 4, hosted by Hospice and Palliative Care. You did an excellent job remembering all the numbers. We won't challenge our listeners with that. I'd encourage you to call Hospice, and we'll share this information up on our website later today as well, because this is very important as we approach this holiday season.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And good luck out there. And it's coming up. I know there's someone in our family of people here that is going through this right now, and it's not easy. So Cool. Thank you for what you guys are doing. By the way, is it free or is it?
It's absolutely free.
Okay.
You guys could show up too. I'll watch for you.
Okay, you look for us. All right.
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you so much. Okay, that kind of. Do you want me to break now and?
You've got 2 more minutes.
Break now or forever hold my peace. What do you want me to do?
You can go
2 minutes. All right. A couple things that I did want to squeeze in there. We were talking about the. Thank you. We were talking about the Aaron Judge situation. A lot of people piping in on that. I do have a bunch of comments. Do you want to end with comments here?
Yeah. So I don't know. Did I say this on the air that I corrected the Yankees? And thank you, Scott. I'm looking at the Yankee schedule here, but I overlooked the fact they have a doubleheader on October 4th, their second to last game. So the Yankees actually still have 9 to play tonight. Tonight, I was wrong, is game 154, not last night.
So tonight would be so he's got to hit it tonight to tie.
He will have broken Ruth's
the record and in the same amount of games that Ruth played.
Correct, right.
Oh,
so when Maris
big.
did it, there was 162. So everybody says, well, he broke the record, but he had 8 more games.
Bill Morehouse this morning. Bill, this is from the last interview. You're putting your words Liz Cheney's mouth. Your left-wing nonsense is showing up again. Did I sound left-wing there? No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Everyone that ever says anything that might even be thought of to be critical of President Trump, his lordship, must be a liberal wacko. Maybe it's not Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe you just have a great fear of Chewbacca. I'm not sure where he's going with that, but Phil, thank you for that. Spectrum is on the Verizon network, so they paid him for switching from their own network to their own network. Sometimes that's odd. That is a little odd. Yeah, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Rob said, by the way, and this we talked about earlier, the balls, each ball that is thrown to Aaron Judge is marked. So they will know that is the ball. It is specifically marked so when somebody catches it.
If sports was like politics, there would people who would think, they would be saying this openly. The balls that they're giving to Aaron Judge, they actually have stones in them. You couldn't hit a home run if you hit it with an asteroid.
Exactly right.
And other people are saying there's super balls in there. That's why he's got so many home runs.
It's actually a hologram. It's not even a real ball they're throwing. He's swinging at nothing, swinging into thin air. Listen, that means we got to go. We have to go. We have to leave. And I'd like it if anybody listening on the YouTube stream, although I've made a few key mistakes today, and I apologize. But anybody that's listening on there so I'd love to know. You can message us, or you can put it up there on the stream message board as well to let us know. Hopefully, it's a little bit better. This gives you a little insight into what's going on here in studio. We heard from Mello, who's not in town and watching on YouTube this morning. Said it's perfectly clear in high definition and sounds really good. Another thing we were getting complaints on.
And he's watching it from a bunker in Florida.
That's right. Another thing we were getting complaints on was the audio was not loud enough. I tried to correct that today, so hopefully that did. Back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy your day.
If you need a tractor that's small but mighty, Clinton Tractor has what you're looking for. The New Holland Workmaster 25S subcompact tractor is economical with deluxe comfort, and the simple 2-pedal operation makes it easy to mow, load, dig, and grade. And qualified buyers can get low-rate financing on a New Holland Workmaster 25S. See them for details or at clintontractor.net.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
Injury crash, 2-door, 4-door, SUV, motorcycle, big truck. At William Attar, we're New York's largest motor vehicle accident firm, helping those injured in New York State. If a crash caused the death of a loved one, call William Attar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, 315-444-4444.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management.
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automate